stops all the talking. It's gonna be a long
I mean,
day.
licensing, it's like, it's my own music. I recorded the damn thing, so I'm like, I feel like we can get it going on. But anyway,
Can line though.
Ever
It's really
have that
but-
feeling
hey,
of
man, you
doubt?
showing off them legally registered guns you got.
Showing off his man meat.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Well, all right. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the Strange Herd Podcast. I'm here with the favorite bunch that you've come to know and love. We got Banana Man, the great and powerful Oz.
What's up?
Looking at those guns. Oh, I'm so glad we moved the TV in here so we could see. Like, we could just look at
That
it.
TV was a great idea.
I mean, it's like whenever I've had an iPhone and I've FaceTimed or done any kind of Zoom calls, I'm that guy that's totally looking at myself and just like, do I look like an idiot? Yeah, oh, God, I gotta do something about that. But anyway, enough about me. But we got a very special guest, Mr. Ryan Chow.
Oh, hello, everybody.
Go ahead and tell the world a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you're doing, where you're going, where you've been.
All right, who I am? My name is Ryan Chow. I'm a prior U.S. Marine. I was an aviation mechanic in the Marine Corps. A little bit about me. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and currently I'm trying to become a software engineer.
Hell fucking yeah.
Yeah.
Hope we made the 1 minute mark with that. That was close enough.
Yeah.
How much you bench, bro?
How much you benching these days, brother?
Through injuries, I'm thinking I'm at like 335 right now.
I remember when I was 9.
that's
Yeah.
real solid. That's
Okay,
real solid.
that's
Oh
good,
my
dude.
God.
That's good.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I was telling Oz the other day about because he's been on this amazing weight loss journey. I mean, what's the number? It's been 9 months, 10 months.
No, less than that.
Yeah, okay.
Since January 6th.
January 6th. All right.
So
Not a great.
now it's June. So like 6 months.
I don't. Can we not talk about while I'm wearing the shirt anything to do with January 6th?
Oh, I forgot. So that was actually the day I got my pilot license. I remember. Oh yeah. I remember our other buddy told me that. That was actually the day I got my pilot certificate.
Oh shit.
That's
So like that's what it says. Date of issue January 6th.
Dude, that's so funny because it's like that's going to be one of those things that just people forget about, and I guarantee 5 more years, like
Oh yeah.
they're going to use it every political cycle, but 5 more years, I'm just like,
Yeah.
let it go. But yeah, man. So we're since January till now, you've
Till now.
lost
Let's see. I've lost about 25 pounds.
25 pounds.
Or
man.
sorry, not 25 pounds.
I was about to say,
What?
55 pounds.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude. I slimmed down
You're
a lot
not-
since
you're
I've
not
been back.
mathing
55
correctly.
pounds.
Like, bro,
55
what?
pounds.
Not
I was
mad.
No, but that's-
270, now I'm 220.
Yeah, I was about to
Or
say.
215.
Should we get a round of applause? Like, come on, this man.
Dude.
Like, that's hard, bro. Like, honestly.
Excitement lights, let's get them going.
Like, you know what I mean? Weight loss is like not easy, especially in America.
Here, Ryan, put the
Oh, yeah.
mic more in
You
front
know,
of you.
weight loss is not easy, especially in America, because we as a culture, like even though we talk about obesity, we don't really emphasize the hazardous parts of obesity. You know,
Bro.
we try to glorify like the consumption of excess. I'm gonna be honest.
Consumerism,
Like,
yeah.
consuming.
that's
And there's
true.
nothing wrong with that. It's just like,
Gluttony. I
yeah.
mean,
I mean, like, just like with alcohol, drugs,
Mhm.
anything, it's all self-control and stuff. But I mean, dude, look, you want to talk about, speaking of military, how are we feeding our military the MREs?
oh my god.
so
just
I'm
talked
sure
about this
Ryan
like
can
that.
speak on this, but
Yeah.
from what I've also been told is those MREs are supposed to be like 1 a day for the field. That's why they're packed with so many calories.
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to be like,
it's
you're
not
in
3
the thick of
times
it.
a day kind of thing.
But I mean, if you have to be out there, like, I feel like that's definitely something you should be able to write as a service injury. It's like, why do you have such high sodium and blood pressure and your back hurts? And
yeah.
I understand. I guess from the Marine Corps standpoint,
Yeah.
I understand like why MREs are a thing because like in reality, like we don't know how much you weigh, but like you're carrying away from 80 to 100 pounds of gear.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you're hiking 5 to 20 miles, like in training. Like that's not even like in actual combat.
yeah.
So being like your body's under constant stress and your metabolism is constantly burning. So like like those high calorie MREs,
Yeah.
like it actually keeps you going because you're burning so many calories. Like I don't know about the other branches, I can't speak upon that.
Yeah.
But at least for the Marine Corps, it's like especially like the way we train during wartime. I don't know about now. Like we really emphasize like like keeping a certain mentality, keep going, keep pushing, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do one more little tweak on the mic. Just
No,
pitch
sorry.
it a little bit close. Like just tweak it down.
I think what's
There
happening
it
is
is.
when he's like looking at us. Like,
Yeah.
the
That's
mic-
Oh, it's just all getting used to it.
Yeah.
But so here's always a fun question with service industry or service military people. What made you join?
You want to go first? You want to go first?
So Mine was an interesting story.
Yes.
I think I shared this before, but when I was in high
Share it
school,
again.
I think I was a senior in high school, and they were like, "Hey, that's if you want to sign up for the ASVAB," and I was like, "Sure." I get out of class for 4 hours. Perfect. I just what is it? What's the word?
Easy A, just something to do.
Just something to do. I just drawing a blank. Anyway, irrelevant.
Well, what was like the moment that you're like, I'm doing it? Air Force, military, like that, like what was the thing that really made you say, I'm doing this? Was it just the?
So that moment when I enlisted initially, everybody was saying, that's great that you're sacrificing all this stuff, but in my eyes, I didn't have a huge friend circle that I have now, right?
Yeah.
I was the oldest, and I didn't really feel like I was leaving anyone or anything behind, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right. But it wasn't until I got my name tapes. So name tapes basically your branch and then your name on your camouflage, and you don't get that until like halfway through your training. So until I got that, and then I saw my last name next to U.S. Air Force, I was like, "This just the pride that I felt."
Yeah.
I was like, especially in a post 9/11 world.
Yeah.
And as people know, I'm brown. If you didn't already
Yeah.
figure that out,
We haven't gotten the tint.
but
Can't tell.
we're not. I'm a musician. I'm not a videographer, or camera person.
That was kind of the moment I was like, I think I actually want to do this. And plus, I kind of like the structure. I liked the respect where even though you might not really like the person, but for everyone else's sake, when it comes to life and death, you know that if they're you would hope at least if
we
they
go
got
to
the
war.
position that they got to, right, the rank that they got to, or whatever command post that they're in, they were there because they know what they're talking about. So
Yeah.
regardless of whether you like the person or not, you listen to them to a certain extent, right? They always say, and I'm sure Marines say this too, you don't have to respect the person, but you got to respect the rank.
Yeah. Well, what was your flashpoint moment of you going, hell yeah, devil dogs, let's go?
I guess my journey was a little more complicated. So like you can approach it from like multiple facets. And I think the most simple way we can do this is like I remember 9/11 very vividly.
Mm-hmm.
My family we fought in the Vietnam War to be here. So we paid in blood to be in the US. And I think I didn't learn that till later on, but I think that definitely had something to do with it, especially this country like has given me and my family a lot of opportunities.
And just so people know, where you guys immigrated from?
Vietnam.
Yeah. Okay.
And so my parents came over in 92.
You want to give a shout out from the city?
Well, we're from Da Nang, so it's like a big tourist spot
I
right now.
gotcha.
But like so my parents came over in 92, and so a lot of people don't know this, but in 1993 it's when the U.S. lifted an embargo on Vietnam.
Oh.
And so, like, before 93, the U.S. wasn't training with Vietnam. Like, the only people who could come over here were, like, refugees and, like, people with, like, visa, like, special visas and stuff.
Yeah, like a special work visa, like someone sponsoring you to be here.
Mm-hmm. And, so, when 9/11 happened, like, when I was younger, I was like, dang, like, this is a crazy loss of life. Like, I don't really understand why.
Where were you when like
I was here. I just moved to.
Well, I mean, like you were what, like
second grade.
Second grade.
Yeah, second grade. I I just remember like the teachers kind of freaked out and like pulled us all and we was put on school bus sent home. But like so my living room at my old house, you would come in and you walk up these stairs and we had our TV right there.
Yeah.
I remember so vividly walking up those stairs and seeing the Twin Towers burning and seeing the second plane hit the tower.
Oh yeah.
And like for me, that's always something that really ingrained in me as a person. But then, as I got older and like we went to school at Brookwood, which has a great educational system when we were there.
School of Excellence.
Yeah, I learned a lot about like, I guess.
Is it still?
I hope.
I don't know.
I don't know anymore.
But like, I learned a lot about the history of the U.S. and like, the opportunities is given a lot of people, but obviously that's both sides to everything,
Well, as an outsider person, like, I mean, I have family that's both my granddads or my grandfathers were Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, I mean,
awesome.
Yeah.
they did their thing, GI Bill, got their college and all that stuff. Like, they got in right at that little slip right after Korea, I think, was when like my granddad, I think, I don't know. Anyway, they didn't like do any combat stuff, but they did a bunch of the other like service and stuff. But yeah, dude, like I always thought about like going into the military, but I wanted to be a musician. And then, but what's crazy? I say that, And then Jimi Hendrix was in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you knew that.
I think I
Shaggy
actually
was in
did.
the Marine Corps.
I think I
Shaggy
did.
was in the Marine Corps?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, there's like a lot of musicians that, I mean, when they're, and I feel like it's for Oz, just in our friendship, the best part about him going into the military was you were, needless to say, a socially awkward person.
Yes.
I was
And
gonna say weird.
I mean,
Keep going. No,
Due to
keep
lack
going.
of confidence, like most high schoolers.
I mean, you were just
mean-
out there just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, you were just, you know, a teenage kid. And that's what I think a lot of kids in high school, they need that kind of structure. Because I'm not saying you didn't get that from home, but there's a lot of people out there that don't have a structured home or a good home life that doesn't give them opportunities that the military can.
Well, for me, go ahead.
I do have something to say about that. A lot of people don't not. I don't know when I was going in 2012. A lot of people don't know this, but like 60-75% of Americans during that time were automatically disqualified from military service.
What was the number one
It's even more
disqualifier?
now. It's even more.
Just
now.
weed or
It's not even weed. It's like it could be as simple as like ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
mental health problems, like
Flat feet, right?
psychiatric
flat
flat
feet.
feet.
Well,
Colorblind.
One of our friends, hearing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
I
like,
mean, there's so many little things. You'd be surprised.
it's like it was really a blessing to like because I realized like like especially joining at 18 like there's not a lot of people who are in perfectly good health at 18. Like,
Sad, but yeah, true.
Yeah.
Very true.
or
and,
even a criminal record.
oh yeah, even the criminal work. And like so I guess like going back to like why I joined, I think like high school really like pushed me into it. We our junior year we're making that state championship run. My best friend, Mark, sorry, Banana Man. he got college scholarships, and a lot of my good friends were getting scholarship offers through like either sports or academia, And during that time, I asked myself, it's like, in the next couple of years, like, what do I want to be? And like, what I mean by that, it's like, me and my dad had a conversation. He was like, yo, like because he told me, I didn't even know this. And him and my uncle were like, hey, like, we just got off the phone in Northern Illinois. They offering you a walk-on spot. And I'm like, oh shit. They're like, why? It's like, I just signed the papers to the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
But like a lot of that decision was due to like me realizing even if I went to college, like, I wouldn't have been the man I need to become.
Yeah. Well, and like we were talking earlier, you're saying, you love football and you love playing football.
Mm-hmm.
And going to a school just for school is a great opportunity from a college. But just like the military, they own your ass. And they like you show up. Banana Man has commented, I think, on an episode about the way the coaching staff
Yeah.
has been treating
Yeah.
players. I mean, it's they got you. You're getting they're going to get every dime they get.
Exactly.
And I mean, military, I'm sure you can
Well,
say the same.
One thing I want to say about like any kind of sport or even the military, right? Yes, they have you, but it's to a certain extent, right? Like if you choose to walk away, like in the military, that's if you walk away.
How does
then-
that
Good
go?
luck.
Yeah.
So
Give that a
The way that
rundown
happens is,
to the normal folks.
the way that happens is typically if you just disappear, you're more than likely you're gonna get a dishonorable discharge, and that you're done. However, if you choose to walk away, they might put you through administrative separation and then just do an administrative discharge. Though you have to prove why, like some kind of hardship. Is it because you have to go look after your family? But they will let you out. No, it will not look good, but they will let you out. So that's one thing I want to say. It's not being owned. You do have a choice in all facets.
Well, I'm saying, yeah.
Like playing football, like
You
Banana
can
Man had
always
the choice
walk
of
away.
walking away.
Well, yeah.
I
But you
mean,
didn't want
And then I lose the money.
Exactly.
in the contract, technically, it says you're government property
Yeah, no, literally, you can actually, if you get beat
sunburned
up by somebody,
or beat up.
they can get charged with destruction of government property.
I mean, but that's just insult to injury. You already got your ass whooped, and then it's like you got destroyed.
Yeah.
I think it's like as service members, we're held to higher standards,
Yes.
and like
Very
we
much so.
we expect our members to adhere by those standards, and like there's nothing wrong with having fun and going crazy because like I've had my fair share of,
But yeah,
like,
you don't want to have the group of Marines or any branch of the military on base or getting a couple days leave out and like I think we still have a bunch of people bases in Korea, the Philippines. Yeah. If service members go out and get shit faced and then start a bar fight, they're like, oh god.
dude, that's
Yep.
actually very common. That's the thing.
Very
That's why we crack down on it because like the reality is, especially like what you're talking about, like that's hurting nation relations.
Yeah.
You know, and like we're talking about like allies we've been friends with for like multiple decades, and there's also like the foolishness of, you know, the individual thinking like they're above the rest. I think that's another big thing. It's like when you do
Yeah.
that, like you're putting yourself above the rest of the the organization.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, well, I'm in the organization, so I can do whatever I want. It's
Yeah.
like, nope, and you know, we are all familiar with the coach saying, don't go out there on Saturday, Friday night doing something silly.
Nothing
Yeah.
good happens after 11 p.m.
God. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's insane. What was funny, my granddad, I call him Geezer, but what was really funny is we would joke around. So he did his thing, did his GI Bill, got out, started doing like, just trying to get a job. Wasn't like, normal job life, it's not really for me. So he goes back as an inspector. And so he would tell this story about how he'd go around inspecting ammunitions facilities, you know, all different types of munitions facilities.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, it was like
Yeah.
the way he talked about it, you know, he'd just go in there. He's like, hey, I just need to collect your papers, make sure everything's in order, just, you know, routine stuff. But there was a habit that he did have between Korea and Japan where he went to these bases, and then 2 weeks, it was always 2 weeks later, the place fucking burnt to the ground. And I'm like, granddad, don't blink twice if you're a spy. I mean, it was just funny shit like that. I mean, like, and the things I hear about the military, and anyway, I don't know, what's your background? Like, do you have other bananas in the bunch that were Uncle Sam bananas?
Yeah, I have an uncle that was in there, but apparently he didn't do too much. I had a stepdad who was in there. But aside from that, I think that's everybody.
Yeah. Because I do think it's cool. I mean, I don't think...
Seabass? Anybody?
Yeah, I forgot Seabass.
Seabass?
2 grandparents and 2 uncles.
Okay.
Military, Navy, and 1 Marine.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Like, a part of me almost wants there to be like, you know how like when we do driver's ed in Georgia, you get like a discount or some kind of tax break, or I can't remember which one it was, but you get some kind of financial benefit.
Yeah, your insurance is lower.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And it's almost like I wish that we had that incentive to do like how Korea has that mandatory 2 years. But I don't want it to be mandatory. I do love the fact that the U.S. military is a quote unquote voluntary service. Like, in, you know.
Okay.
I don't know. No, go ahead.
I want to add something quick. I was actually going to join the Air Force first.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but
Why didn't you join the Air Force?
because, so
He's about to rip him.
Instantly insulted.
I was vying
Who
for
picks Marines over Air Force?
I was vying for a
Men.
Got you.
People who can't fly.
I was an aviation mechanic in the Marine Corps. I flew.
Fix the planes.
I was
Which-
I went on the cruise.
I
so
say that.
sometimes
No, no,
Oh,
I
this
say
bolt's
that,
going to
but
be a
it's
little
the-
loose.
I say that, but the aviation mechanics are the reasons the pilots stay in the air. So
Yeah.
there has to be a really good relationship
You-
between the
you
two.
only
and
need a high school
trusting relationship.
you only need a high school degree to fix a plane. You need a college degree to break it.
Yeah, that's very true.
But like
Very
back to the Air Force thing. So I was trying to be a para jumper.
Paratrooper.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
didn't
so
know
like
that.
special forces, recovering special
That's
forces.
just as badass.
I mean, fair.
Just-
Because my mentality was like, especially at that point, it's like, all right, look, we're leaving high school. Like I'm a fresh, like blank slate, going to this world. I get to dictate, at least how the story starts. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
And dude, honestly, really, what rubbed me the wrong way was that fat fucking recruiter. Like that dude
yeah.
pissed me off so much. He was like, your BMI is too high. I was like, bro, you could barely fit your fucking uniform. You're gonna tell me
You're going
that?
to tell me I'm unfit?
That's
Yeah.
one thing that I didn't really
And like,
see.
and I'm over here like
in the
I'm
Air
230
Force.
at the time, like fresh off high school football, and I ran like my mile and a half like in freaking like 11 minutes. I'm like, bro, I'm literally like destroying people, like
yeah.
freaking 40 pounds lighter than me. And I'm just like, but he's like, nah, man, you gotta lose weight, then you gotta come back to us. So I was like, I'm good. And so
That's messed up.
yes, I walked out, and yeah. So my Marine recruiter, this little short Korean dude named Ryan Lungerhausen.
Ah.
He was adopted from a
Lungerhausen.
white couple in Colorado,
Wow.
but he's Korean.
God bless him.
Yeah, but like the dude was lit. Like that dude was just like, "Hey, what you did in there?" And I was like, I tried to join the Air Force and try to go Special Forces. And he's like, "Fuck that shit.
Fuck that shit.
Real men do the Marine Corps." And I was like, "This seems like a lot."
The few and the proud.
No, like honestly, my first thought was like, "Damn, this is a lot of work." Okay, whatever. Let's see what's up. And the thing is, the reality, because I come from a long line military, and so the thing
Mostly Marines or?
No, just all over. Cause my
Yeah.
my grandfather fought. He was trained by the U.S. to fight in the Vietnam War. My dad served in Vietnam.
Yeah,
Like,
okay,
he's mixed, but he stayed there. And so I'm third generation military, first generation U.S. Second generation U.S. trained, second generation, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things where it's just like, damn, like, because like to me at that time, like the branches didn't matter. You know what I mean? It was about me and what I could accomplish.
Well, I mean, that's one crazy thing about the military that, I mean, I'll be the first to say it's like if it comes down to it, of course, I want to pick up my gun and go do what I got to do at the homeland. But I mean, that's we're already they're invading Lawrenceville, Georgia,
right? It's like what?
Like a lot has hit the fan at that point. But I mean, like, there's just so much. I mean, because the thing is, the way I think about it is a societal thing. Like all those things that you both got from the military and just being a part of a group for the first time, because there's so many disassociated people. Like my high school experience and college experience is like they all very different. Like I would personally say I had a great high school experience, had tons of friends, tons of groups. And then it's, as I've gotten older, it's been the work to try to not make those groups get too small. And then I feel like at the military, it's the other way. It's like, oh man, I know so many people, so many branches. Yeah. Like Mr. P. What should we call him? Mr. P? I like Mr. P.
Yeah.
Mr. P. He is got so many connections and things from that. And as a kid going into high school that maybe doesn't fit in somewhere, doing the ROTC, feeling those things and looking at, like, I mean, the idea that you could go from you graduate, let's say at 17, because you're in the younger half of the month, or you're in the younger group of kids in high school. You graduate at 17, you get into the military, because what, basics 2 years?
No. So basic training varies based on the branch, but on average it's 6.5 weeks, 8.5 weeks.
Yeah,
10 weeks. And then your job training is what varies based on your job. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, just the amount of things that you couldn't do, maybe because your parents both worked a job, they were doing their best. You didn't have the best situation growing up. You got so many things, but you can go into the military, at least from my point of view as a person on the outside. You go into the military and you can go in so many directions. Like you said, engineering, mechanics. You could be 17 or 19 years old before you know it, and you're working on $1 million, $1 billion planes.
I was 19 fixing helicopters.
Yeah, it's like
literally, yeah.
Like I think that's one of the coolest aspects. But then on the flip side, is coming down from that, coming back.
That's like what a lot of people struggle.
So
a lot of veterans struggle for that transition.
Yeah, this is why you need headphones so you can hear.
A lot of veterans struggle with the transition because, I was lucky because I had my dad who he's a veteran, so he kind of helped me with the transition. But a lot of people, the reason they struggle with it is because when they go into the civilian world, the discipline that military has, civilians don't have that.
Oh yeah.
And so dealing with,
I feel like Ryan's got. He's like, I got.
Do you have a story you want to share?
He's like,
I don't have a specific story.
No,
but you can share a specific story.
I mean, I was going to touch on multiple things. Because like I'm gonna go back a little bit, like 10 minutes back. You talking about the mandatory thing, so I do want to touch on that real quick.
Yeah. What's your opinion? Do you think would you go if you were king of the world or king of whatever country?
Our greatest strength is our willingness to fight.
Yeah.
That's why our quality of our military is just so much superior to everybody else. It's because like the difference is when everybody else being told there, we want to be there, and so like this goes into my story with the Marines. The thing is like the more I saw how that organization is, something about it drew me in. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know whether it's just like that, like the being elite or the hyper competitiveness, or just like even for myself, like pushing myself to that breaking point multiple times.
Yeah.
What's crazy? Boot camp was fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I'm like, bro, like, I'm third generation military, bro. Like, I already know what to do. Shut up and just follow orders and do it.
It's like follow directions and don't get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, yes, sir, no, sir, run hard. Because for me, like, it wasn't like the mental thing was easy. It was just more the physical thing. Like, I wanted to push myself to that, like, a breaking point every time I'm there.
You wanted to see what your limit was.
Yeah, and, like, I did it multiple times. And, like, that really taught me, like, like, this is, like, where I need to be. This is...
I fucking feel that, dude. I mean, football's nowhere near the same, but I mean when you have those days in football and 2 days where you're like,
I agree.
But I mean, like, I want to hear your opinion on
football. Prepared me for it, Marine Corps.
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
100%. Like
hell yeah,
the mental discipline and the brotherhood I got from like playing with us, like all of us here, like like the coaches and how like they restrict us, and even like that state championship being a winner, that really influenced a lot on me because like it showed me like you have to understand there's a bigger picture. You know, and like that's what a lot of people in today's society doesn't understand. And because like, you know, whatever the culture like
The bigger picture is not your cover photo on Facebook.
yeah.
Yes.
Like the whatever
It's
Yeah.
a worldview is the bigger picture.
Mhm.
I like that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that.
And like, you know, like maybe it's just like social media and whatever is going on am I using the word right? Like proponent? Like it's a proponent to
I mean,
like
social media is definitely a proponent of why people aren't. They are more hyper connected to fewer people, but they're like not deeply connected to as
Mhm.
many.
and
Yeah.
so I think like it's crazy because like, you know, it's like I've always tried to be a bigger picture person, even though it's hard. You know, it's hard sometimes because sometimes you're like, damn, like this is stupid. Why am I doing this? But it's like when you take a step back, you're like, all right, I gotta get this done because of X and Y and Z.
Well, I mean, so like, just give me like a quick rundown. I want everyone's. If you were king of the world, and you had your country, aka the USA, in this scenario,
America.
But if you had if you had to make a choice as king of the world of your country, and would you do like an 18-year-old has to do like a 1-2 year like some kind of military service, like a year or two minimum, like you get an option.
You want to go first?
What do you think,
You
Ozzy?
can go first.
Okay. I think for me, I think it's good to expose people to it,
Yeah,
but the reality is like boot camp's the easiest part,
yeah.
and a lot of people make it through boot camp, but they can't make it to the next part. Like, and that's the thing, man. It's like
Because boot camp, for like perspective, it's just it gets you to a certain physical level to
and
where,
mental.
and mental level to where you can then sprawl out and go into all the different specialties and
Mhm.
stuff. So, but so you think like you would be for sometime between the age like I like that in Korea. That I think that you can do. And Seabass, do you know about this? What the age limit is?
Well,
It's like 18 to 24. You have to do it within that frame.
not exactly. Technically, if you are working specific jobs or tasks, you can essentially just keep getting a pardon or an excuse from it. But most people are required 2 years of service.
Yeah, because the one K-pop guys, the
Oh
guy.
yeah.
That's where, like, if you're a celebrity or some form of diplomat of some degree, you can get pardoned from your service. But you have to have very specific jobs.
Yeah, it has to be something like you're hey, dude, this 2 years is going to cost me millions of dollars of not being a pop star.
So you know, going off you know, like what I said about boot camp, you know, the harsh reality is that like not a lot of people, especially children, like teenagers, are prepared for that.
Yeah,
And like the thing is, like especially in today's age, like, you know, because like parents could coddle you, like there's a lot of external factors.
Yeah.
The thing about being 18 and pushing there, this is your decision. You know, the thing is like at say at high school, right? Like we don't know if the parents signed them up. We don't know like whatever reason they signed up.
it's like, why are you doing football? Well, my dad told me I got
Yeah.
to pick something.
And exactly. And the thing about, you know, especially something like that, like you're teaching people to defend this country by killing people.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
And you know, it's like, yeah, we can train them and mentally harden them at a young age, but that's no difference than making child soldiers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's fair. So you'd be generally, just to kind of give a general answer, you'd be not like you wouldn't make it a mandatory thing.
I think it depends on the need of the country at the time.
I gotcha.
Like
Okay.
so, if the world's in a crazy state of civil war and like men are dying left and right by generations,
Yeah.
like if that's something that has to be pushed to the forefront, then yes. But
Yeah.
like if we're in like now, heck no, because like, you know, the reality is we don't have we shouldn't force people to be a certain way.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
You know,
I keep thinking about it from all the positives that I've like seen about it. That's why I'm like, maybe it'd be good for a lot of these kids to go in, like if they could do like a year of high school. Like honestly, just for American kids now, if they could just have a gun safety course as a
oh, I agree.
and I know people are going to be like, really, Jared, you want high school students to have a gun safety course? Yes, I do.
I think what would be more beneficial is like we make physical classes more mandatory.
Yeah,
Physical and
but just to keep the question moving, so you as king of the world, you wouldn't make it to where you do that
unless there's a need.
Okay,
like extreme need.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
What about you, brother?
So I've actually that's an interesting question just because I've thought about it a few different times, and yes, I'm biased because of my military experience and kind of what I've seen. I personally think right now there are options like service academies. There's like some military colleges where there's not necessarily like service academies. You have a service commitment, but some of the military colleges you can go there And there still is a service commitment because you're getting your education for free.
Yeah.
In exchange, you're gonna serve your country. I think what they could probably do is still make it optional, but something along the lines of one of the service academies. However, make the entrance not as make it not as tough to enter.
I got you. But
Where
would you
they
mandate it though?
So here's the trouble with that is
He's got it's like I got to think about my political career on this one.
Well,
the short answer, I would love to mandate it, but the problem you have with that is you could literally get a revolt, right? And you don't want that.
True.
You don't want people to start hating
They're forcing
serving
us.
their country.
We're oppressed because they're forcing us to serve as free military.
But what you want is you want to create a system where they see the value and they choose to do it. So what you could do is, it could be kind of like you get your associate's degree, like whatever job you want to do, you can still learn that. And it's not hardcore military.
Yeah.
But it's kind of teaching you the discipline, like, okay, making your bed every morning.
Yeah.
Those folding
little
your socks.
things.
Little things that teach discipline if you don't want to touch a weapon, you don't have to touch a weapon. We're not going to teach you how to fight, but we're going to teach you discipline.
That's the biggest part. Like for me, I wouldn't make it.
That's what I would kind of like to see.
So you'd be a no on the mandatory, like something kind of service or some kind of like.
I couldn't give you an absolute answer.
So we'll just put
it varies.
You wouldn't absolutely mandate it. But
there's a lot of factors.
I would like to add that most countries that has mandatory service, like they are within a proximity of a
very hostile.
Hostile
Israel.
proximity. Yeah, and so
the Israeli Defense Force.
Do you recognize Israel?
I know the Israeli Defense Force exists, and you don't want to mess with them.
Yeah,
I know that. You don't want to mess.
They're hard bodies. Even the women,
hardcore.
they're just special force women units in like.
Yeah,
like there's some Gal Gadot.
They'll
She's an
take your
Israeli
She's got
defense. She's got
it.
They'll take off your head.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's
Good.
Just saying.
Good.
Not saying that we have to have an exact system like that.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's like for me, like I don't want it to be like I kind of like the idea of offering that or making an incentive to, like you said, where you see the benefit of it. But like I would just something that's like, hey, if parents, you maybe encourage your kids to maybe do this 1 year program with the military thing where it gets you up to just a certain, like you were saying, physical. What were you gonna say, Ryan?
Do you think the Eagle Scouts don't do something similar with that? Because like think about the Eagle Scouts, right? It's teaching basic survival skill and it teaches basic discipline. It's up to you to take those skills away. I've never been a part of it. I'm just asking.
I never
I
went
think
to
they start
Eagle.
too young.
You see, too young? You think?
Like, or not start too young. The kids are at an age where they don't really know what they're doing, right? And if they're learning it, they don't see the value until maybe some kids do see the value, but sometimes it might be too late for them to see the value, and by then they've aged out of the program.
I don't know. I mean, you go Cub Scouts and Eagle Scouts, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So it just depends.
I only did Cub Scouts for like a year. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I got my pocket knife, and that was all I wanted. But
Nice.
for me on that question, it's like I don't think it should be mandatory. I do think there should be some kind of course that you can opt in and maybe get say, hey, you, I'm in the selective service, so if like shit does pop off, I could get drafted or whatever. I knew that going in, but it's just like something else. Just like, hey, maybe you're not selective service, but you get like a tax break. You get some kind of insurance break, some kind of incentive to make people.
I agree with you.
But just in my idea of it, it's just to get the people to a certain level of physical fitness and mental toughness just to go into the real world. It's like, dude, I couldn't do one push up because what's the PT minimum, 60 or 100 or something like that in like a certain time frame?
Varies based on
The
the
Marine Corps do
branch and your
pull-ups. I don't know.
age.
Okay, yeah, but so how many pull-ups would you have to do to pass a PT test?
Minimum 8. If you want 100 points, 25.
Yeah, I got you. But how many people can't do 10 pull-ups right now, in the world?
Depends if you're kipping.
Yeah, we go to a dead hang, then we go up.
Oh yeah.
And so anytime you do some kip it or you do momentum up, they won't count it.
Yeah,
I got you. So Banana Man, what's your take? Would you do a mandatory or would you?
Oh yeah, I'm totally doing mandatory.
Like 2 years, 1 year. What's your plan?
So I'm actually gonna have 2 programs. So it could be the one that we have now that's in place, but I would also do a 1 year program that's really just teaching you how to be a little bit more prepared for the world. So financial education course, psychology courses, certain things like that. There will be physical education there, but much like I was stating, it's not like you have to pick up this weapon.
Yeah.
But it is good to, first of all, have the knowledge of moving your body, because we look up and people are living to be older and older, but they're also becoming more sick. Not sick because of genetic things that are happening to them.
More sedentary.
But it's like you're just sedentary doing these things. And the amount of people that I know all of us here have been able to help, but just showing them these are simple movements that you can do now when you're young, or at any point in time in your age, to where it's going to be able to benefit you when you get older.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when we look at people and talking to them about financial education, I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times that Oz has told me to be like, dude, this freaking idiot. And it's like, and then he calls it back. He's like, they just don't know.
They just don't know. They
know.
really don't know.
But the thing that gets him, and the thing that it comes to me, it's like, okay, well, at a time like this where we have so much information at our fingertips to be able to look up, it's like, dang, fam, it'd be great if you did. But at the same time, it's like, dang, fam, this is how I'm able to make my money. You know, I'm able to make funds and do these things from the lack of knowledge that people have, and that's what makes me an expert in this area.
Yeah.
So in essence, I sell this to say everybody's going to have to do something. And I think that, like, one of the interesting sides of me having this is, like, this could ultimately end up being the end of my reign, is if my people then are able to progress in such a way to where they see me as a figurehead and they're like, we don't need you. And if that ends up,
like you.
if that ends up becoming the case, then hopefully I don't get beheaded.
Oh my God, yeah.
But it's some sort of like peaceful revolution. And if it's not, then I mean, let there be blood.
It just wasn't in the cards.
I personally think from a society standpoint, we always need some kind of leader, someone to something to look up to, whether it's
some diffusion of responsibility,
whether it's a religion, whether it's a
think.
figurehead, whether it's your president, whether it's your congressman, whether it's your father, right? Like, but as you grow up, I think we always need someone or something to look up to. So as far as the peaceful revolt, from a societal standpoint, I mean, in history, has that happened? Where people just stop recognizing
they're like, "Hey, get out!
Higher being,
get out of our country!"
Or
and they were just like, "Yeah."
Do you mean higher being like as in a god or?
No,
The monarch?
like a person.
The monarch,
Oh,
a monarch.
But
I'm
that
su-
still gets replaced.
I mean, that's happened.
Yeah,
I mean,
the monarch got replaced by.
I'm still
Parliament.
saying I'm getting replaced. Like that's fine with me.
I guess like we can see like different examples. Like the
There's
first
still
example.
some form of.
no, there's still
leadership.
Yeah.
there's still anytime you have more than 50 people, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were just talking about. Like,
No, I'm saying
society
me
would run
personally.
itself.
No, sir.
Oh,
I'm not saying
I
that.
think
That's where
the
yeah, 'cause I'm
example-
like, I don't think society can.
They'd
No.
be like, this guy's a banana every Thursday. No, I don't want him to.
Like,
Maybe not.
I don't think so.
I think on the topic of peaceful revolt, especially as like a world leader, like when we're talking about monarchy, I mean, there's examples like the UK, like
French.
Spain, the French, Spain, like they still have their monarchs. They did.
Was it
the Ottoman Empire fell.
The Ottoman. Oh, there was what was it? The Philippines or there was a female like. Oh God, I'm messing this up. I want to say it was the Philippines or it was Malaysia, maybe. What the thing was, what was really funny is the woman got peacefully removed for had a peaceful coup, and then she came back. She came back and took over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
The military's like, we got you back, ma.
If that is a boss, B word attitude.
The word you're looking for is bitches.
I just think like like leadership as a whole has changed.
Yeah.
And like over the centuries, especially in like more recent times, like a lot of people think like being a boss or a manager is being a leader. And that's the reality is like it shouldn't be like that. You lead people, you manage items.
I think the best thing I heard on that is leadership is a skill, but it's a skill that you like. Some people are leaders and some people can become leaders, but you have to recognize the difference. I mean, yeah, God, I mean, there's just so many people that I've met that have come out of military service and they look at the hierarchy of a corporate world and they just want to lose their mind because they know the person above them. It's like there's no rank, there's no fallback thing on it. Like
They're incompetent.
nepotism and all that.
I mean that actually happens in the military too. Not as much. It's not as apparent. It's more hush hush, and because you do have a set rules. But when it comes to the senior ranks, it becomes more political.
Yeah.
I think what you just said, Jerry, about that the veterans going to civilian war. I think the biggest problem is like a lot of them need to humble themselves. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's
A
fair.
lot of them need to humble themselves. The reality is like like a lot of you joined at 18, you got 22. Like you have military experience, you have no real life experience,
Yeah.
and that's just facts. And like yes, you have more discipline than people
Yeah.
to certain degrees, but the thing is like there's a lot of life that you have not experienced because of the military. Whether it's the government taking care of you, paying taxes, like the emotional side of being an adult, dealing with your family, like if you have one in a healthy manner,
Yeah.
going to work in a healthy manner.
Dude, one example, I'm not going to use his name and stuff, but I worked at a cell phone store right out of high school, just selling phones and stuff. And I remember this one guy, we'll call him Gary. Like he was a former Marine. He had served in combat either in Kuwait or Desert Storm or something like that. So but he was a little bit older guy at the time, but he's like, all right, decided not to renew or go back in, re-enlist, re-up. And he just like had the hardest time just understanding like how to deal with people. And then what ended up happening is the guy, like he had a lot of problems, but he had that issue where he's like, dude, I can't believe that guy was going to, like, how you see those people that are customers at a cell phone store coming in, they start raising a fit and trying to act like they got an attitude. And he just would always like, I can kill them so easily. And I'm like, yeah,
I think
Gary,
I think that's part of like
Good.
the.
Good.
I'm not gonna say that's a problem. I'm gonna say that's more like
that's a one.
that's a one-off, but it's case by case, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I think it's more like like that case specifically. Like if he's been in a while, he's been through a lot of trauma.
Yeah, he's like that was the thing. He just knew I was like, dude, I can do like so much stuff. I used to like drive Humvees over like foreign countries. I used to do all this crazy stuff, and now I have to like help this old grandma back up her phone.
See, that's always what I found fascinating, right? Like exactly what you just mentioned right there. We as service members, we say we swear an oath to the Constitution of the people of the U.S., right? And we do all this stuff, and then we come home and when we act like we think like that and feel like that. It's like, wait a minute. Like, how can you feel this way when you like your whole purpose was to defend this person's life?
Yeah,
defend this country. Like that's the thing. Like, for me, like I've experienced my fair trauma and like just shit. That's part of the military. You know what I mean? Like, and
any
the thing
stories you're willing to share on the podcast to the internet and the whole world?
Maybe another time.
Maybe let you think about it.
Yeah, like I think for me, it's like I got humbled a lot, and like it was by my brother and like my friends.
Yeah,
because the reality is just like I was very bitter and angry. I was one of those people. Like that's why I can speak just from personal experience. But it's like my brother had like he humbled me, because he's been through his fair share experience and stuff like that. Like and we talk about it, and I realized it's like I'm a person that's been through a lot, and so as people in the civilian world, you know what I mean? So who am I to really like say my trauma is worse than yours?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna be honest, like I can't say at 30 years old, like, from childhood or the military, I've lost about 20 friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's really affected me as a person, and that also really humbled me because like, that's like something like, I wish nobody would go through, you know, but at the same time, like this is our job. And so for me to like be angry and bitter and feel that way when I came back to civilian life with my limited experience, because I only did 6.5.
Yeah.
With my only experience in like my only adult experience in Marine Corps, right? It just like, it just doesn't make sense. I haven't experienced enough outside of the bubble of the military to act like I'm better than everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, dude, and like I said, that guy Gary, like, I mean, he had a lot of issues and stuff. He'd been there for so long, and I think that's a good point you made, where people, they grow up in the military from 18, and to the next thing you know, like, all right, well, I can kind of get out and just kind of relax and kick back a little bit.
No, dude, that's not how that works.
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, but he, like, the craziest part about that story is he, like I said, he had a lot of issues from being in combat.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, that's a whole other, like, conversation about just helping people come out of that. But I mean, because this guy, like, he ended up committing, unaliving himself.
23 a day.
Senpuku.
Yeah, but dude, the way he did it, he set his apartment building on fire, barricaded himself in.
That makes me mad. That's selfish as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
because I think that's
So I agree that that's selfish, but you got to wonder, maybe in that moment, maybe he thought he was, if he did in fact have PTSD.
See,
maybe he thought he was being attacked, and he had no option but to kill.
It's like if I'm going to go down
the building, and in his mind, the building was a danger to the people around him.
Yeah.
Or to the rest of
You
the
know,
civilians.
if we're going by that
So,
specific scenario,
you
I
can't-
agree.
We can't know what was going on in his mind.
But like, no, the question is like, you
Right.
know, did he get help? Did he get help after? Like, did he feel like he needed help? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many.
And that's
You
what
know,
they,
I
that's
had
what
a-
they say. It's like when you're in this military, they take care of you because they spend a lot of
I-
money on you. But the minute you get out,
Yeah.
you're chopped liver.
You know, it's
Like,
like
yours.
I've had, you know, friends inside and outside military, and you know, it's one of the things we never know the headspace of these individuals.
True.
That's just the reality. It's like a lot of
never know
times,
what someone's
sometimes
going through.
these individuals don't want to ask for help for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? And you know that's where I really separate myself from a lot of things, because it's like, if you know you're hurt, if you know you're sick, right?
Yeah.
You try to heal yourself.
Well, I
And-
think, if I may interject, I
Mhm.
think when you're in the military,
Mm-hmm.
and I know especially for pilots, I was actually reading an article the other day. There is such a huge problem with pilots reporting any mental issues because it is so crucial to their
Oh yeah.
flight qualifications.
Yeah.
And depending on your job, you know, if you're a sniper, for example, if
Mhm.
you have certain high risk jobs, if you even hint that you might, you know, have a hint of depression or you're feeling kind of low, you could lose your job.
That's during
And so
active service
people-
though.
Well, but you're conditioned for years to just
Mhm.
suppress that thought.
And
So even after you get out, it's like, oh, I know I'm not used to asking for help. I'll deal with it. I'll suppress it until it's too late.
and like, you know, I agree
I
with
think
that.
that's what most people. Go through.
I for one, right? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. From 18 to 25, I barely felt emotions.
Yeah.
Like, I felt anger, maybe stress, and pleasure.
Yeah.
But like every other thing was just like, and
A dull, like not.
I didn't really feel it. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, that sucked. Embrace the suck. Keep pushing.
Yeah.
Bite down.
Mm.
You know, for me, and like, you know, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I didn't realize how big of a detriment that was to me as a person growing.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like, so after I got out, right, I got medically separated. I got injured, so I pushed myself. I got heat stroke twice in a month,
Jesus.
so I almost died both times. And they pretty much like, yeah, you can't stay in. I was like, okay,
It's like you will blow up your own engine if we let you.
yeah, that's pretty much. And so I, when I was getting out, dude, like, you know, I was struggling with my weight because, like, you know, I was depressed. They told me like, hey, like, you can't stay in. You know, like my whole career just shattered in front of my face.
Damn.
And you know, because I was going to say I was trying to become a Marine security guard, so like embassy guard. So
Okay.
I was trying to go, you know, guard these embassies, be like one of 5 Marines, like in the country, hanging out with like,
Hopefully not in Benghazi.
dude. Honestly, like, you know, I don't know, I don't know,
Sorry.
I don't know.
I think my nephew's doing that. The embassy guards.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
So
awesome. That's
he's training in
it should be Virginia.
I think Virginia. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's training in Virginia right now.
But like, you know, like when my whole career blew up in my face, you know, I was depressed, but then like, you know, I had a choice to make. You know, the same thing. I was like, man, I can sit here and cry and go out to the civilian world bitter and angry, or I can like try to control what I can. You know, at that moment with my weight and my mental health
Yeah.
as best as I can. Like, you know, I didn't really know much about mental health at that aspect, so like I was more focused on the weight loss. So I went from 230 to 180 in the span of 4 months.
Yay.
But like I was killing,
Wow.
I was killing myself. Like I'm talking about, I was eating like 1,200 calories, like working out, running like 3 miles a day.
You're just like, I want to eat. I'm gonna
That's
go eat.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because it was also like a way to work off my like depression, frustration. You know, like I mean, that's really what it. And like, no, my last week in Hawaii, right? One of my buddies like was like, "Hey, bro, like, just last week, let's go out to a bar." I was like, "Man, I lost so much weight. Whatever, dude. Let's get it." I go out to this bar, you know, like typical bar time, and you know, I met this wonderful young lady, dude. And like, you know, literally, I know at that moment, like, she was gonna like shatter my world in a good way.
Yeah.
But it also like, this is where reality set in, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that, it's like, so, you know, we talked, we got together, and we started dating. She's Mexican Italian, like, you know, we were in Hawaii at the time. That's where we met. You know, she's going to school Hawaii, the University of Hawaii. So you know, so she's paying out of the ass for tuition. She's doing 6 classes, working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm over here like, damn, like that's incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she's still having time to balance, like having a social life.
Yeah, dating
and boyfriend and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I lucked out, dude. Like I found my dream woman. She was like, you know, like to me, she was beautiful. She was a redheaded Hispanic woman.
Yeah.
Like is extremely educated, like just a great woman. But the thing about that is like, you know, all that trauma and PTSD and emotions I'm feeling for the first time, that hit me like a freaking wave, bro.
You're like, oh no, what is this happiness?
It's like, what is this emotion? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, damn, like these emotions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, shit. I mean, that's the thing is like, I mean,
But-
you feel that and you're like, what do I do with this now?
But I think after a year after the relationship, it was great. The relationship was fantastic. I realized that, how messed up I was and how traumatized I am. Cause she told me like when we sleep, like I would square up. Like I would literally tense up and square up. I'm like, what? I don't know why I would do that. And she's like, yeah, you punched me a couple times in our sleep. I'm like, what?
Damn.
And like,
My dad told me that there was a time when his sister this was when my dad was early in. His sister was trying to wake him up, and he literally put her in a chokehold because that's just he was trained, and he woke up thinking he was getting attacked.
I feel the
Like
same
luckily
way.
he didn't like injure her or anything, but literally put her in a chokehold just like that.
I feel the same way when I wake up AJ. I always go to his leg that stretched out the most, and I'll rub it. I'll be like, AJ.
See, AJ is a real humble dude.
yeah.
He's quiet, but he's got the guns. He's got a 6-pack abs, but he keeps his shirt on.
He's what we call a sleeper.
But
even at a pool party.
But kind of making this long story short, like, I realized, how messed up I was in that relationship. Like I try to be the best significant other I can, but like I was falling apart internally because I didn't know how to do these emotions. I didn't know how to deal with like the shit I'm seeing in my head or like, because like I felt like that triggered stuff from like my childhood too. So like it was like I'm dealing with like, waves of just stuff, like 25 years of repressed emotions to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And like like I caused my significant other to like start struggling. Like she started failing classes. And I realized at that moment, it's like, damn, this is my dream girl, but I'm not her dream guy. I'm literally going to ruin this woman's life because I didn't want to heal myself when I could have.
I mean,
and this is where I'm kind of correlating to everything where it's like, that's just the reality of these things, man. Like who we are in the military is a part of it, but it doesn't have to be who we are as people.
yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that, like you said at the beginning, is you had that choice where do you decide to be bitter or do you decide to, try to change it? I mean, because it's easy to go down the bitter road. It's just, the path of least resistance. It's, it flows downhill. Just go with it, go with the flow, like see where it takes you. And you can make up all these things like it's a fate, it's a destiny, I'm supposed to be here, whatever. But I mean, there's that moment where you just decide, am I going to do it this way or am I going to do it like, am I going to let it, like, you take your hands on the wheel and decide to like steer where your life's going, or you just decide to let the river carry you down and wherever you end up is wherever you end up. But those small little decisions every day, those are the ones that build up to the big ones.
I agree with you. And like,
Consistency is key.
I think
If you can't stay
I'm not going to lie.
motivated, stay consistent.
Yeah.
What, like the hardest decision I made in my life, like was leaving her.
Yeah.
Like stuff in the military, I thought about it. I didn't have to think about it. Let's do it. Let's get it. Whatever. Leaving her was like, that was like crazy. Like I couldn't even describe the amount of pain I went through. And like a lot of it is just like, I'm still grieving with PTSD and trauma, but I'm like destroying the woman I loved life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's like, you know what I mean? I'm the cause of that. And like people like, I have friends and people who are like, oh, you could have healed yourself, work yourself. It's like, dude, the reality is I couldn't heal like the in the correct manner if I was hurting her.
Yeah.
And that's just how I felt.
Yeah. I mean, well, you made a smart, very mature decision
That I feel like more people our age should probably make.
I mean,
But because you're right when you said like it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to heal when there's someone else there because they're having to share that burden with you, and they might not. They might not deserve that.
She didn't deserve
like
my repressed emotions
Yeah.
and my repressed trauma.
Yeah.
She had nothing to do with that.
yeah, I mean, and even if she would have, said, baby, I love you, we'll work through it together. It's just like, I mean,
I'm destroying your future.
yeah, and I mean, dude, sometimes it just gets to that point where it's just like, look, it's not about you. It's like, I just need to destroy something. And if it's not going to be myself, it's going to be you. Or you find some kind of, you find whatever path. Because I feel like with my own, I don't have like those kind of experiences, but like something that I found is just, oh man, it's so much easier to go do the thing that I know is destructive because it makes me feel like I'm still in control. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm going to go do that thing. I know I should be doing 100 other things, but I can control what I do. And this is what I would rather do than actually doing the things that fix myself.
Wow.
And I mean,
like taking an axe to wood,
yeah,
literally.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That is beautiful.
thank you,
I
brother.
really like that.
I mean, but yeah, dude, it's just, you gotta, like the military, like not being in it as in depth as y'all two have been, it's definitely something, as I say an outsider, the reason I have the respect for that is because we're asking so much of such young people and then just, hey, after all that we've asked from you, just go live your life. Go be normal now.
Here's your VA benefits,
Yeah.
Which nobody walks you through how to get
which
through.
nobody walks you.
Like
how
you
to
have
get
to
through.
figure that stuff out.
People
There you
kill
go.
themselves
And-
over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think this was at least 5 or 6 years ago. It was Daily Show with Jon Stewart was talking about the VA building had so many paper applications that the ceiling was going to collapse. So many unprocessed applications that the floor above them that held all
was
the
just
documents.
bowing in and just couldn't hold the weight anymore.
It couldn't hold the weight.
Jesus
It was
Christ.
getting ready to collapse. It was like the building itself was inhabitable.
Yeah.
And I think and then when they finally got an electronic application, it still had glitches for months.
See, that's where it irks me, man. Like, I think back in 2000, like when I served in 2012, 2018, I think about like almost like it was close to 50% of our national budget went to the U.S. military. So you're telling me half
yeah.
our GDP is going to the military, and you can't help the people who literally gave up everything to do that?
That's the military. That's not the VA. That's what people.
So this is where I'm
make
going.
that
I feel like the
disconnect.
VA.
It's called red tape.
I feel like the VA should be an extension of like the organization that governs that. What I mean by that is like, if we have if our government can freaking shove out half our GDP for what 7 services with millions of people, you're telling me we can't do like 10% of that to the VA? Like,
No,
you know what I'm saying?
they need to build spaceships.
We're not in active war. Like, we're not in active wartime anymore, dude. Like, we're like, we're in a state where it's like,
We need to rebuild, renew, re-up.
exactly.
Like, I mean, God, dude, what terrifies me is just hearing all this stuff about how we're giving so much to Ukraine that if anything did pop off right now, we might be caught a little short-handed. But I don't know the validity of that.
It's called an investment, my bro.
I'm gonna be honest. Ukraine is kind of like a test field right now for like.
That's what I've been hearing from the
modern
military service. Yeah, they
And-
say it's just a testing ground to try new tactics out, let people who haven't
Yeah.
been a part of like the prior campaigns and stuff try it for their own.
I think
And I think it also might be a strategic move on the U.S.'s part because say something does break out with Russia, our equipment's already there.
It's like we're no take backsies.
You just send the people, and you can have people there within a matter of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Versus equipment can take days, weeks, months to get over there.
And then the Ukraine still has to pay you back over all these years.
Yep.
So it's just
It's an
uh,
investment.
I was about to say
that's
that.
just a
It's an investment.
that's a strategic move I think that the U.S. might be thinking about. Who knows?
I'm gonna be honest. I think, a lot Americans might disagree with me. I think this needs to happen for the stability of the world. And what I mean by that is like we as superpowers have proven that like how much detriment, I'm talking about like everybody as a superpower, detriment we could do to the world.
Oh yeah.
Especially when a superpower like Russia is like becoming more imperialistic. Cause at that point, dude, like you're literally like saying like, cause they're like, we're denazifying Ukraine. It's like, dude, like so you're telling me you're gonna invade a whole country that didn't even ask for your help or not even do anything. Like, hey, you're full of Nazis, so we're gonna fix you. Then it's like when the Ukrainians start killing a bunch of them, they're like, whoa, you guys were Russian in the first place. The Ukraine wasn't even a country, and I'm like, whoa, bro, what the heck? Like, who's teaching you history, bro? Like, as an American, I know that's BS. Like,
Dude, just the back and forth of what's come out of Ukraine and like Russia, it's like, okay, they said this, they said that. We can't trust either one of them, and we're giving one side billions and billions of dollars. But I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing is like I do believe in a very well-oiled, maintained militia, like the Constitution like specifies. But that's that's on the civilian side, and then having the military and the federal side.
see, I agree with you. Like the Russian civilians, like I don't know if they like from what I see in social media, like in the beginning of the war, a lot of them agreed with it. I don't know if that's out of fear or propaganda or whatever.
Yeah, there's like the Donbass region.
Yep.
What Russian civilians, and this is because I have a friend who lives in the U.S. She's lived here for years, but she's from Russia.
Affectionately known as the Russian.
But she's born here. She went to school here. She knows
The Red Sparrow.
She's practically
she's a
practically
great-
American.
she's a great plant.
She's an American. And the problem with what's going on in Russia is the Russian citizens see Putin as a savior because he's trying to take it back to what it used to be, the Soviet Union.
Restore the Soviet Union.
They're
yeah.
restoring the Soviet Union. So from their perspective, this is a good thing for Russia. And it's
Yeah.
similar to the U.S. It's like, oh, we're going to the Middle East for oil.
Freedom. It's
Like,
called
so
freedom
it's the same
sauce.
thing. It's like we're supporting it, but just like that, they're supporting it because that's what they're seeing from their perspective. Whether it's good for the rest of the world or not doesn't matter because they live in that country.
Their perspective, which is also very cultivated from the government. But
Exactly.
I mean, dude, the story. Did you guys ever hear that story about how Putin, when he was a KGB officer, I can't remember where he was stationed. I want to say it was one of the, like, I think what's now a Kazakhstanic country or something. It was something that was one of the countries that fell during the Soviet Union fall. And
yeah.
I can't remember which one it was, but Putin was a KGB officer. And then when the people were coming to take back the not the capital, but the
building,
Moscow.
not
I know what
embassy,
you're talking about.
like it's basically like an embassy building. He was calling in for reinforcements, and there was no answer. So it's crazy to think how when the USSR, the Kremlin, yeah. Well, yeah, the Kremlin of backed building. But anyway, it's like an embassy. But so he's away from the mainland, Moscow and everything. He's out there and he's calling for help. And the USSR is like, dude, we're done. The USSR is no more. And then that whole thing. And now Putin is the guy at the top.
And he's trying to bring that back.
Trying to bring it
it's
back.
like-
So no one, like, it's insane and it's crazy because the guy is, like, just to have that perspective of a country, like your country, it's like, I've been in it that long and now I'm the man. Now he's the guy.
I think like what you use the example of the
How much time are we at, CBS? Okay.
like you use the example of us like the U.S. military being in the Middle East. It's like I also want to put out like the U.S. military is also the number one like provider of humanitarian aid in the world
Yeah.
by far, and that's the thing what a lot of people don't realize. It's like,
That's true.
dude, even in the Middle East, like we were boosting whole local economies. Like like kids were happy to see us. Like the thing is, like a lot of people don't understand like those extreme regimes over there. Like the normal people don't want anything to do with that. They want to have their regular life and peaceful lives.
I mean, that's the thing.
And the U.S. made a huge difference when we did that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, and definitely, it's like, I mean, I know I'm wearing an American flag shirt right now and everything, so it's like,
Which some people actually would argue that that's a desecration to the U.S. flag.
oh, it probably, I mean,
Some like
Well, you
with the
can't- it's
American
not-
flag bikinis.
it's
and
not
things like that,
made-
or like the swimsuits.
it's not made from an actual American flag.
it's not even made in America.
It's a Chubby shirt. I think Chubbies are made in
I
America.
do
No,
with
nope, that
4th of
says
July
China.
coming up. I do think it's pretty ironic and pretty funny actually that those like the flags that you see on the lawns and stuff, the U.S. flags
That little
that we
made in
use for
China
4th of
sticker.
July. They're made in China, and I laugh every time I see that.
I love that.
Well, I mean, but yeah,
'Cause
but,
it's just the irony.
well, I've heard the flag code, but I think it's like you can't have an actual U.S. flag and desecrate it by cutting it and making it into something or another.
speaking about that, it's crazy. Like we're one of the few countries in the world that let other like flags fly on our sovereign soil. Like a lot of countries.
Oh yeah,
A lot of countries, like bro, like you would get executed or
I
thrown
did
in
not
jail.
think about that. That's true.
And that's the thing with a lot of Americans. Like that's a privilege. A lot of
Yeah.
Americans who don't understand like actual worldviews or cultures. Like that's something I've always wanted to say. Like on to the internet, it's like, dude, like as somebody who's from a refugee family, like I'm just going to tell you, like
Go, buddy.
you're privileged. The fact that you can put your like ancestors like homeland flag in the U.S. and nobody's gonna come and like put you in the gulag. Like it's like that's a privilege in America
Yeah.
that not a lot of countries have. It's like it's a thing, man. Like as much like bad there is in the U.S., there's just as much good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you highlight the bad stuff. I mean, there's an example I saw. There was a professor. I want to say it's from this math movie it's a very famous math movie. I know it's a math movie.
no, it's
But it
Does
was
that Brad Pitt in it?
no, I wish.
Moneyball.
But it was like this old Spanish guy, and he goes into like an underprivileged school, and he's like a math genius. But he did this thing where he walked up on the board, and he just did 1 + 1, 2, 1 + and then goes down just as it was either multiplication tables or something, and then he goes, "Hey guys, tell me what's wrong with this." And somebody speaks up, 6 times 6, it's 36. It's not 12. And he pointed out, you guys noticed that one mistake versus all the other stuff I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a horrible job explaining the
but-
scene, but it's like people are going to pick out the bad stuff because, I mean,
You're right though.
when people get together, it's so sad that, they don't talk about all the good things going on in their life. they're talking about the bad, which I mean they should. They need to express their woes and all the things that are bad. But I mean, dude, like you
Well,
just
Jared and I were talking about it this morning, literally, and I was talking to my trainer. I even like sometimes fall into that trap where I just focus so much on the negative, I forget the positive, right? Like I was, what was I complaining about?
When you
I
say
think so one of my taillights is out because somebody ran into it, right?
a year ago, but yeah,
But hey,
go on.
I didn't want to say what I was actually talking about, so I was just using something else. But
It's okay.
anyway,
it's fine.
point being, at least I have a car that drives. Doesn't shut off. It doesn't overheat, or it has AC.
It's not an
Right.
ABC car. It's an A to B car.
It-
ABC car is a car that gets you from point A to point B, and then you get picked up at point B to get to point C.
oh, I actually never heard of that.
Oh, okay. Well,
So it's an A to C car.
well, you got to have that crucial part where you break down. And someone has to come pick you up.
Like our friend did.
Yes.
I think that's
So-
just human psychology we're talking about
yeah.
at this moment. But like, you're not wrong. Like I've heard this saying, like in the military, that where it's like, you could build 1,000 bridges, but you fuck one goat, you're a goat fucker. I'm just saying.
That's
I cut hair
yeah,
one
that's true.
time. Am I a barber? No. Do I play basketball one time? Am I a basketball player? Fuck a goat one time, and you're a goat fucker.
Well,
Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
well,
Like, well,
Not wrong.
like that one, AJ. All right, good.
hey,
Look,
He's
I
like,
took my
"That's true."
AirPods out at the wrong time.
That's right. That's right.
it got.
Oh my God.
I had to line up the mood a little bit. It got a little serious.
Well, I mean, dude, that's the thing. I mean, when like doing like a podcast, my friends are always like, "Why the fuck are you doing a podcast?" And
I think it's a great idea.
it's I was saying, but before we started and had all the technical issues and stuff, like it is just because it's another platform and it's a cool way to where I can show people, look, this is what I can do with my friends and the sexy banana man.
Hi.
Like, come on, let's sit down, have a conversation. And I mean, like, kind of going back onto how you're saying, like, in this country, you can have another flag of another country flying, which is, like you said, kind of a unique thing. But I mean, it's insane how, like, you don't realize all the things that you have in this country until you travel. And if not military, like, experience or like having an offer to go into the military for like we were talking earlier, I almost feel like you have to take a senior trip to a foreign country for like 3 weeks.
I agree. I feel like
Not a vacation, but like a cultural, like, hey, this is how other people
Like a
live.
study abroad trip.
like
Yeah.
as an American, I'm biased, but I still think America's the best country in the world.
Yeah, man.
But at the same time, I feel like we as American needs to leave this country to get more worldly,
Yeah.
and I think that's how we are going to improve as Americans.
Yeah, because I mean the arrogant American like persona is a thing. I was in Kosovo, and I had like you can see my American flag band shirt right now. I had an American flag bandana. And very, very loud and proud American. Yeah. But the funny part is I remember the kids and stuff, part of the summer camp we were doing, they all wanted to wear the headband and, take pictures. And I had plenty of them. So I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter if it gets lost, whatever. But I asked them, like, do you think without the headband that you guys can tell I'm American? They're like, hell yes. And I asked them why. They're like, it's the way you walk.
It's like
I believe that the same thing in Pakistan. My family was saying, like, if you go without even talking, just people can look at you and be like, okay, he's from America.
He's an American one.
He's an American. Like, you could dress the part, you could look the part and everything, but not even talk, but just the way you carry yourself. He's American.
I'm gonna be honest. I think a lot of that has to do with like when like aviation, like commercial aviation became a thing. The people Americans who generally traveled were like well-off Americans.
Yeah.
And so generally they're very confident,
true.
like, like if you're, like, you know what I mean? Like before 2012, I think like it was like less than like 50% of Americans had passport, only like, and then like 10% of them actually used it,
Yeah.
And so it's like from like, I get from a outside worldly stand, like not worldly, like, like outside the US standpoint, that they could perceive us a certain way because like those were the only Americans for decades they ran into, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now that it's become more affordable and stuff, I think the thing is now that we as Americans have developed so uniquely in a culture that, like, even though our culture is so different, we give off a certain vibe.
Well, and I think like one of the things hey there, banana man.
So,
one of the things I was just looking up just to make sure is, like, I think something that ties into that is in America we are multicultural in the sense you have the Southerners, the Northerners, the Midwesterners, the West Coast, East Coast people, and like
That's one level to it too.
and that's just one level.
That's one level.
Like you got people that are from Louisiana that are Southern Louisiana, and then you got the people that are Creole, and then you got people that are like are from Florida, and then there's Florida man. But I mean, one of the reasons I think it's so important because I mean, if you like just doing a size comparison of Texas versus Europe, Texas reaches from France all over. You can basically fit Germany inside of there. It's got Italy, Austria. It's got Czech. It's got a little bit of Poland. It's it's got all these different countries. But I mean, German, France, Italy. All those like languages, cultures, and things, and that's just Texas. That's one of our states, one of our biggest ones. But it's like that, and like just being in Kosovo for the times I've been there, you learn like you see another white dude, you're like, hey man, you look like you're. Oh, I'm from Sweden. I'm from Germany. Because to them, yeah, people go from their country to the Alps to ski for a holiday. And you meet people at a young age in Europe. Everyone met people like they knew multiple languages in the sense just to be conversational to get through like an airport or to get through like a resort. But it's so funny because you think about that. Most Americans they have to learn how to speak Florida man, or they have to learn how to speak like Southern.
I think that's like,
to survive.
To survive.
That's for survival.
Yes.
I think that's one of our biggest strengths. So as a
Like oil instead of oil.
Yes.
Like
khakis instead of car keys, and
Khakis.
up in like
Khaki,
Boston and
yeah.
Massachusetts.
Wally World instead of Walmart.
But like, I think that's like one of our biggest strengths. It's like we don't live in I think it's a homogeneous.
Homogeneous.
Yeah,
It's
homogeneous.
they say melting pot. The
Yeah.
cliche.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, depending where you go, like it could be more like a salad bowl. I'm not gonna lie, but like like one thing I love about being in Atlanta, it's like this is like legit how I thought America was like everywhere. Everybody just like it is like just every ethnic everywhere. Like people were just like
People are people where
like
they be.
I thought this is how I thought America was, and like I went to I went to Hawaii, I went to California, and I'm like, oh, this is not how they feel about this stuff. Ooh, and it's crazy because like me being Asian in the military in Hawaii, like a lot of those people like. We got along with friends, but I think a lot of them had a disconnect with me with where I'm coming from personally as a person.
Yeah.
And what I mean that is just like, but like, I get it due to like my unique experience and like where they come from. Like what I've experienced is not normal. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be very honest, and so I completely understand where they're coming from. And like, but the thing is like, that really taught me like what you're talking about. How like there's just so many. Like I can be Asian in Atlanta, but I can have a completely different mindset than Asian in New York.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like so, it's like for me, I thought that was great, but the downside of that is I realized a lot of those people weren't trying to see where I was coming from.
Yeah.
And for me, that really turned me off on a lot of different things, in the sense where it's like we can't have good communication if you're not willing to see both sides of it. Because for me, like I try my best to see multiple sides of like every like conversation, even though I don't like it or not.
Yeah.
But I think like that's not a common trait that a lot nowadays.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, that's the thing about it. I mean, just the sooner you can break that mold in your head, like, because I felt the same way. Like, oh, I grew up around Atlanta, live in Florida now, and like, go back and forth and travel over the Southeast, but it's just the Southeast. I mean, a redneck from Georgia, like a redneck from Winder, Georgia, and a redneck from like Michigan,
Totally different.
Totally like. They look the same maybe on the outside. They're both wearing plaids and overalls. And maybe
SPF 500.
They might sound the same.
They might. Well, they definitely won't sound.
No, you guys be surprised. There's people up north, like the Northwest, that have like Southern accents, like had deep country accents.
Well,
yeah,
they can have a.
We'll have to see them for that one.
Yeah, we're going to have to have them sit down and say.
I wouldn't say Southern, but country. Like
there's
heavy
a country.
I was about to say
Because I was like, hey, Papa, can you go get me a pop? What kind? You want a Coke or a Sprite pop? Or like I think they just say Coke. Everything's just a Coke or a pop or
No, I think it's a Pepsi. So it's pop or Pepsi.
Yeah, I think it's pop or a Pepsi.
In the
Hey,
South,
hey,
a soda.
Don't
dare say that word in front of me.
in the South, it's Coke.
Yeah.
It's Coke.
Get me a Coke. What kind? You want a Sprite? Coke? Yeah, Hi, see, dude.
Pepsi. What?
Did anyone else do that at the Taco Bell or any of the other like fast food joints back in the day?
Absolutely. Because they're wrong.
I'm saying you got every one of the drinks from the soda fountain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Do you guys remember Hawaiian Punch?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys remember that guy on the Hawaiian Punch?
The super white guy with the red
There
hair.
was a guy
Yeah.
on Hawaii Punch.
Yeah,
I don't remember
the
that.
mascot.
He is one of the most simply drawn mascots. It's a white guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt that's blue but just has other white dots on it, and he just has a red hat. And I love him so much. But they shifted him. Now he looks weird.
Yeah.
That's funny.
They made him more human, and I don't think that's appropriate.
No.
Yeah.
It's like the honeycomb guy from the 90s or the early 2000s.
Oh yeah.
He was like a hedgehog or something. Like a
He
honeycomb.
was.
He was
yeah,
like
I
a
remember-
honeycomb badger.
Yeah, something like that.
He had a couple renditions where he
With the blue shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But still, my favorite cereal mascot, Cinnamon.
Oh my,
Oh
the
my God.
Applebee's one, yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Captain Crunch.
Okay, did you know that Captain Crunch just turned like 60?
No.
Jesus.
Yeah. Does he look good or bad for 60? Think about it.
I mean, that
I mean,
mustache.
considering all that sugar, I think he looks pretty good.
You think he looks pretty good?
The roof of his mouth must
He
be
hasn't aged in
bulletproof.
60
He
years.
doesn't have
I don't know.
He doesn't have,
He
he doesn't have a roof of
He
his
doesn't
mouth.
have a roof of his mouth. It's all gone.
He lets his cereal get soggy, then just emulsifies it, and then he just chugs it.
Yeah, because he
That's
has to
it.
shoot the commercial while the cereal's in the milk. So by the time he's done, it's already soggy.
And that's how he eats.
That's how he eats.
I personally like the tricks funny. I always
The
thought
tricks.
I always thought it was funny. He's like silly rabbit tricks are for kids.
Do we? So have you guys heard the joke? It's like, wait, why can't we see the marshmallows or whatever?
Oh yeah, the trick
shapes.
shapes. The
Is
tricks
this-
used to
are
have
tricks
shapes.
really for kids?
Kids. I like that.
Or can trick was it? Yeah, tricks are for kids. Whatever that is.
Well, if we're going to talk about conspiracy theories, this is a fun one. So there's been a surge in the last, let's say, like 8 to 10 years on, the topic of fitness, fat shaming, body positivity, all that stuff. And somebody posted this just a government psych ops to make everyone work out more, so that way there's more fighting people.
Oh yeah, when
Because
it's time
like
for the
you're
draft.
saying, how so many people aren't able to pass a PT test for any of the branches. It's like that's why they've been pushing military games, COD, and that was the thing. The moment I actually know the moment when I was like, "There's no way I could be an infantryman, or I could be any kind of guy that runs into buildings and shoots at like."
That's actually one of my biggest regrets, not going infantry.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to. My dad was like, "Look, bro, like I don't want you to join." I was like, "All right, I get it."
But if you are,
But if you join, you at least learn something. I was like, "All right."
dude,
And so I went in there and I was like, I did my ASVAB, and he was like, "These are the jobs," and I'm like, "Aviation mechanic. I don't know shit about this." Okay, yeah, let's
I'll
do
go
it.
with
It sounds cool. Let's go.
I'll go with the thing I think sounds cool.
Yeah,
I know the least about.
Yeah, and pretty much.
That's risky. That's
Yeah.
risky as fuck.
Because like my initial
Yeah,
like
but they teach you. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah, but
but my
still.
initial it's like, yeah, I'm about to go kick down doors, like do God's work,
So much.
but like my dad
Here's a
was like,
wrench.
well, my dad was like, no, like, well, because we had a serious conversation. He was just like the reality is like you're third generation, it's like,
You know what to do.
yeah, it's like you could sit here and follow like us, but the reality is we had to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like the war of Afghanistan by that time has been going for like 10 years,
Yeah.
11 years. It's like they have enough bodies, and the thing is like just because you're not in the combat, you're still doing an important role.
Yeah. Well, dude, for me, I got invited to a paintball birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
A good friend of mine that played on the football team, Darian, and
Oh, man.
Darian. Oh God, it was Darian. I remember Darian because he's freaking 7 feet tall. But we went to this paintball joint, and we had the rented paintball guns. So they're the paintball. You shoot it, and it goes. It just like it just takes an abrupt turn. You don't. It's about as accurate as my golf swing. But the thing what was really crazy is it's me and a bunch of unexperienced people. We're just like, oh, this be fun, and they're just throwing us in there like, all right, two more people want to play this round, 2 more people, because we were trying to do our little like 3-on-3, but they're like, yeah, no. It's like we're doing like matches here where it's like. A live there's like it's a literal COD like lobby and then it's like, all right, who wants to get in, and then you go and you do the thing. But bro, I got my ass lit up so fast, so many different ways. It shattered my illusions of you just
Some dudes they take it serious. I think one of our former teammates are actually it's a professional ball Christian.
yeah.
Christian
Yeah.
Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collins,
professional
he's
paintballer.
a professional. I think they actually won like a big championship
did,
recently.
yeah.
They
Hell
did.
yeah,
let
dude.
me tell you about one of our friends, Fitz.
Oh, Eric, I love
He
him.
Shout out to Fitzy.
Shout out to Eric.
Out of anybody else that I know, that guy could have gone pro. All right, so we are
Yeah.
paintballing, right?
I can agree with that.
He is
You are
good.
paintballing.
I am paintballing. I am a banana, so I'm not that great at it. Makes sense.
Was that
right?
day we all went by the one behind the BP? You talking?
It's the same place, but I don't know if it was the same day.
Yeah, wildfire or something like
yeah,
that. I
yeah,
think that might have
So
changed
it's like
names.
Okay, continue.
So
Sorry,
I
didn't
get
cut you
out
off.
pretty early because, again, I'm a banana. So I'm walking out with my hands like this, and our side's losing. It's losing. I wasn't the first one out. I'm not a pussy. But I'm still leaving with my hands up in the air. And then the
You
next
just
thing.
don't care.
No, I cared because I didn't want to get shot. I understand as a black person, I know the handbook. I mean, as a banana, I know the handbook. Anyways, as I'm walking out, right, and I'm like, la 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 la, this guy comes up behind me and uses me as a fruit shield and takes out the entire squadron, and I'm just screaming at me, don't shoot! Don't shoot!
I mean, props on the
That's
Props on
impressive.
Eric, bro.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
He took a losing situation. I can win this.
Like 4 or 5 people, and I'm just like, you're a
You know,
monster.
but speaking of Eric, you know, like I have a lot of respect for him. You know, like during during our football days, dude, that dude would put in work, even though he knew the coaches, they did what they had to do. I don't know how they evaluate the players, whatever. You know, that's not.
as they say, they try to put the people they think are going to do the
But,
the
dude,
best situation on the field.
I'm not
no,
gonna.
they put their kids in.
Yeah, I'm not
They
gonna lie.
put their kids
like,
in.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, it's like, dude, like this dude, like he was the perfect size for a fullback. Like I'm talking about, like if you look at Eric and like how he was built, I'm like,
Even now.
even now, I was like, dude, this dude's but except they went and got somebody from a different school, and I'm over here like.
No.
But Eric-
Look what did that.
But Eric, the thing about Eric, he never complained about it. That's why I respect him a lot. Like he showed up to practice and put in work.
Yeah,
You know, like-
mad respect for the guy.
and you know he like me and him, like especially because we play a lot of special teams together and like scout team. Like he was next to me on special teams and scout team. Like we were competing against each other a lot of times. Like a lot of times we didn't even care about the starters. We were just trying to make a play. Then we got
Yeah.
yelled at for it. Then we just laughed about it in the back.
It's like, well,
But like it's like but he really like honestly like that dude really like taught me. But like look, bro, like. We might not be the star of the show, but we
we can still get in there and crack some
we
heads.
can still do something. And like if anything, we'll just make him pay. And I
Yeah.
was like, I feel it, Eric.
Well, and is he still has a metal band, or he's got a hard rock like group?
I don't know if he's still
Yes.
doing that.
I think he's taken like a medical leave from it. though.
Oh,
But yeah, he was in a metal band. He was going hard, dude.
yeah.
I saw one of the most disgusting displays of a mosh pit there.
Oh no.
There was only 2 people in the mosh pit.
Were they doing the?
Yes, but it was worse because they were built like you and me, and
Oh no.
they were on each other's backs, and they would just be spinning around and hitting people. It was a Cirque du Soleil mosh pit, and if you were in the crowd, you were getting these hands.
That's lit. Oh my god.
and I'm just standing in one spot, and I'm like,
Is
yeah.
this at Eric's concert?
Yes.
Yo, that's awesome. What?
you know it's a metal show when you walk in and half of the ceiling has disappeared, and you're like, is this asbestos? What is
somebody's knocked
this?
out, getting carried out like halfway through, like 10 minutes of the show.
It
Like
was not
Man.
it. I was gonna have to fight them if they hit me. I already knew I was gonna
That
fight
is,
them.
I mean, dude, that is something that is very hard for like a lot of the weird things that white people do.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is one of the weirdest.
Like wear that shirt. Sorry, keep going.
you know, I'm not gonna lie.
Touche. Touche, Banana Man.
That's your military.
Yo, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, Jared, being mixed, bro. Like in the military,
That's
some
the-
of my
being
white
worn as a
friends,
clothing
Quit talking over Ryan. You're not the only minority here. You're not special anymore.
like some of my white friends in the military, be like, bro, you need to embrace your whiteness. I was like, what does that mean? These dudes, like, they took me cliff jumping, bro. I've never done that. I'm like, bro, what?
That
the-
sounds fun.
what- Okay, bro, I've
That
never.
sounds fun.
It's fun.
I mean-
It's fun now, but when you're 18, you're from Atlanta. You never cliff
And
jump.
you wanted to be a PJ jumping out of
Hey,
planes?
bro, that's different. I get a parachute. I get to be a hard ass, and I get paid. Okay, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm
You
just
die
hanging
with a
out-
gun in your hand.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with my white friends, and they're doing this for fun. I'm like, bro, wait a minute.
I mean, dude,
we're jumping 3 stories.
rock climbing.
I love rock climbing, but like this is different when like hey, bro, we're gonna jump off this 3-story cliff.
Or
Well, I'm gonna say one more thing and then I gotta dip out.
before you fall asleep on us again.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta dip out. But I was watching the movie that came out about Nike and Michael Jordan's contract or whatever.
Transformers.
No, Air on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So it's funny.
They
The
don't- they
one of
don't
the
sponsor us.
characters, there's like they were trying to expand. Nike was trying to expand their basketball division because they were about to go bankrupt. They were competing with Converse and Adidas. So apparently they were big in the basketball game.
Mm.
And Nike kept pushing their running line, and they were asking for like the basketball division was asking for more money and more money. They're like, "No, we're giving you $250K, and that was back in like the 80s. I
Yeah.
think, back
So that would have been like a
And
million,
so,
couple
yeah.
millions today.
$1
And
billion.
they're like, we need more because we got to pay these players to wear our stuff, so we can get basketball. They can grow the basketball department. Like they keep spending money on the running side. They're like, black people don't want to run. Like it's just white people that are running. Like you're not gonna see black people run for fun. It's not a thing.
Our shoes don't look cool to them.
Exactly. Like it's just white. It's a crazy white people thing, and so that's why they needed the basketball division to increase their revenue, and then eventually they signed Michael and so forth and so on.
Did you just spoil the movie, bro?
Kind of.
Spoiler
I mean, if
alert.
anybody's lived, they know Michael was signed
Golly.
by Nike. But
Well,
Spoiled the movie.
thank you.
anyway,
That's your spoiler.
that's my spoiler. So I'm gonna
Well, there you
leave
have
it
it,
to
folks.
you guys, and
We'll wrap
everyone
this
else
baby
have a
up
good
with-
night.
We'll wrap this baby up without you, my dear friend Oz.
Well, I appreciate it.
I'm gonna use a little banana room.
That's it.
So you heading out, bud? All right, man. Thank you for having me.
You're not gonna kiss your Air Force brother?
If he would have been in Air Force, I like
Hey.
how you just unplugged him.
Hey, we're not wearing boot bands, so it's gay.
At
I'm just-
least you're not a bunch of semen in a metal tube.
Hey, man, that's like paradise for them.
I mean, dude, the thing is, like,
Shout out to the Navy though. Y'all some real ones.
dude, the Navy, those guys are a whole different animal. To just sit down and say, I want to be on a sinkable vessel.
That's a nuclear powered.
And it's just at any point in time, some other adversarial force could
Come out
shoot
the way.
stuff at us.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's on radar. Yeah, maybe if we hit it before it hits us. Good Lord, all the things that could happen on a Navy ship.
Mm-hmm.
But I would rather be on a Navy ship, like an actual ship. I could not do a submarine.
So, what service do you think you would have joined if you would have joined?
Wearing this American shirt, there's I knew this
let's go over a
question
little
might
bit.
come up. Yeah,
I'm just gonna go over a little bit. Sorry.
it's okay. Get comfy, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to talk to my buddy. Oh shoot.
Yeah. Don't break it, Brian.
I'm not trying.
Don't break it like the
Sorry.
mic cable.
Hey man,
It's
I
okay.
got-
Like I said, we could fix that.
I'll fix it with a hammer and duct tape somehow, or maybe a rock.
Well,
see.
one thing I was thinking about when I think because me and Oz had talked about this before, just like if what if you'd gone anywhere else, what was your second option? And for me, everyone like shits on the Coast Guard,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like they have you just be doing the most cool stuff the most often.
I mean, Coast Guards do a bunch of cool stuff. Like their divers, the rescue divers are badasses.
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Like they're jumping into some I wouldn't do that.
Like-
I'm gonna be honest. Like you jump in some hazardous condition, you're swimming and trying to rescue people from
Well, the
drowning.
idea of-
You're like, bro, what?
Piloting a helicopter like that through a storm like that.
Oh yeah, you're a badass.
Oh,
I think that's the thing. Like that's why all military service members really have respect for each other. We poke fun of each other. It's like,
Yeah.
this is a brotherhood. you know?
Sibling, yeah.
Yeah, but the reality is like we all understand. Like we have our own role.
yeah. Dude, like if not of course there's classic Army, Marine. Marine only thing about that is I feel like if I would have made a choice, it probably would have been Army, just because it feels like that has the most places to go. Marines are very specialized. Navy's very specialized. You got naval Marines.
We actually can conduct warfare without any other branches besides the Navy. If you want to get technical, we can wage a whole war with only the Navy helping us. If you
Yeah.
want to get technical.
because the Navy's got aircraft carriers, so you can still control the skies.
No, we have jets too and
Yeah,
helicopters.
exactly.
And so the thing is, the reality is the difference between us and the Army is we're the attacking force and they're the occupation force.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the Navy, they're support and every facet of the manner you could think
Yeah.
of. Air Force is a hit or miss. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, yeah, dude, and then there's the oddball out of Space Force.
Dude, honestly, they're doing great things. The thing about them is a lot of people they don't get enough publicity, but a lot of them what they do is they monitor satellites and so what that does is those satellites cast a net over our world, but
Quite literally,
Well,
a literal net,
yeah.
not even the
Thousands.
cyberlinks, but just
Thousands of them.
all
Yeah.
the satellites from
Wow.
other countries, our own country.
yeah. But the important thing about that is we have eyes on our sovereign territory at all times.
Yeah.
And so we are able to react to a lot of our countermeasures are better than countries that aren't prepared.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We got the supply chain for it, man. But
Yeah.
Coast Guard was always seemed kind of cool because it felt like I'd get to stay in the 50 states, so I'm never really that far.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's wrong with getting deployed over to Germany or
Mhm.
Alaska, or you get put in like Korea, which would have been cool. Would have been a lot of people do it to
You
travel.
would have loved it. You probably got married if you went to Korea.
Oh god, I know. I feel like
I'm gonna be honest. He
He'd wear that shirt as
I'd
well.
be like,
wear
hello.
that shirt, that little Korean lady, just
That's it.
it be monsoon season.
Mhm.
What was Quagmire? He was American Jack from Family Guy. Quagmire had a second life over in Korea.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm a Family Guy fan. So.
Quagmire had multiple lives. Like at one point he served in Vietnam and he was a pilot.
Yeah,
Then,
how old was he?
bro, I just think he's immortal. I don't think he just ages.
Oh
Now the fact that he served in Vietnam and he still looks whatever age he is,
Yeah.
like modern times, like bro, like.
Being that old, dude.
But then it leads me to like think like how old is the rest of the crew then? I'm because you know what I mean. Like they all been friends since like
yeah.
for a while. So you're telling so they all have to be close to the same age.
Either way, Quagmire. I saw a clip of one of the newer Family Guy episodes, and Quagmire was like, "So when do I get a spinoff?" And he's asking Peter, joking about like the Cleveland show,
Yeah.
and just very plainly, Peter goes, "Quagmire, you're a literal rapist." Like, I mean, how Family Guy and South Park have gotten away with so much is beyond me. But it's oh my god,
South Park ratings. That's it. They got it.
Yeah,
I think you know what I loved about those shows? Nobody took it personal.
What do you mean?
No, I'm
Yes,
talking-
they did.
yeah, a lot of people
A
did.
lot of people did. Okay, for South Park, they made a whole episode about Kanye West.
and he
Actually,
tried to sue
Gay
okay.
fish.
Yeah, I know that, but-
because he's a gay fish.
But I'm talking about more in the sense where like you know when
He put it on a song. He was that hurt.
I
He
guess
made
like
a song.
I guess
about
I
it.
shouldn't say take it personal, but I think like I guess like their humor was more appropriate in that time because people were just like, "Ha, that's humor." you
I
know?
mean, to be honest, I think the best part about South Park was that nobody was ever safe.
Yeah.
Nobody.
yeah, like
nobody.
everybody had equal opportunity to get like roasted, destroyed. But that's why I think like that's what I'm saying. Like you know, it's not like they were going out of their way to target a specific group.
yeah,
like-
I mean, for me,
Like I guess that's where I'm coming. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
cut
no,
you
you're
off.
good.
That's where I'm coming from, and it's like when like nobody took it personally. It's like nobody got spared.
Yeah.
Cause like if everybody if everybody took it personally, then everybody just butthurt about the show.
because they're all
And
like,
And a lot of people were.
yeah, they
Yeah.
don't, you know,
yeah, they're all like, we're gonna eviscerate every group. Oh, you're not offended? Wait your turn. Wait your turn.
yeah. you know,
We'll get to you.
Even with the people who were offended, there were more people who were like, "Shut up."
Yeah,
like,
it's like, dude, it's a joke.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like that's where I'm coming from. It's like
Yeah.
you could be offended all you want, but the fact that this show is still a thing, like more people were like, "Shut up."
Yeah, I mean, dude, and that's one of the things because I mean, they did a really good job. They would always have the two sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't either have the Xbox, PlayStation people.
The anime episode was crazy.
Oh my
that
God.
had me going.
I
bro.
mean, dude, they roasted Xbox, PlayStation, and Game of Thrones people in one
Oh
episode.
yeah.
Like, and I mean, or even like when there was a political thing going
They threw
on.
Disney in there too, right?
Oh, dude,
So,
the Jonas Brothers
Let me
episode.
ask you guys: do you guys think like in today's atmosphere, like, can South Park, if it was created today, survive?
No,
Dude.
And obviously I knew the answer to that, but like, you say yes?
Yes, I
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes, it
before I
can.
continue, can you elaborate?
Yeah. So here's the thing. We all know that no publicity is bad publicity.
Mm-hmm.
Make something as raunchy as you want to make it, and people will cause a fuss about it, but people are going to watch it regardless. You know, one of the things that really put South Park on the map was when they dropped one of their first movies. It's called South Park.
Bigger,
Longer,
longer,
and uncut.
yeah.
And it was, they named it that because they sent the first one to the reps at Comedy Central. They said, it's too much. You can't put this on TV. Change it. And they said, oh, okay. So then they made it worse.
You know what's crazy?
Sent it back. Then they made it worse. Sent it back. But because of the show's popularity, they're like,
we
"All right,
have to release this.
we have to drop this."
You know that movie exposed me to a lot of stuff for the first time, but like for me, I thought it was hilarious. you
Yeah,
know?
That's good.
this is
know-
the South Park movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like a lot of it is just I don't know what it was. Like you know, it's like I remember a scene where like Satan was fucking with Tom today. Like,
Yeah.
And I was like, that's gay. But like, you know, like you know, as a little kid, I'm like, you know, because like you know, being from my culture during that time, like you know, that wasn't really somebody spoke upon or like,
Yeah.
you know, like so for me, I was like, oh, like this is on TV. This is a thing. Like holy crap, this is like random dick like
yeah.
like
Yeah,
symbols.
it's there.
Then like you know, I remember like Operation Human Shield when they pull out the black people on the tanks and
Yeah.
like the airplanes. I'm like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Like as a little Asian kid who showed up, I'm like, oh my god, like what is going on? Like this is
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, but like you know, like but the thing is, like I think for me, after I got to the movie, I was like, oh man, that was awesome. Like
Yeah.
that was hilarious. Like for me, like I understood like it was a joke, but it was more like I feel like humor that like that, depending what kind of person you are, like it shows you like, hey, like this is kind of how like things are without you really knowing.
Yeah.
And you could choose to take it in a funny way, or you could be offended by it.
Well, for me, my biggest part of that upbringing was just the fact that they had that left, right, center, where like Kyle would always, you know what I learned today, and they do that monologue at the end. But I mean, they'd have like do the pro-life, pro-choice like people and show all the crazy, because I mean that's the hardest thing, and what really changed my political like associations and views is it always swings back and forth. You get the extremes, and then those years where it's going back and forth, and it's it's a part of it's. And the thing is, I'd like to believe that that's it's not a bug, it's a feature. Like the founding fathers, like, yeah, we don't want the government to have all this power and be able to just do big sweeping changes. And so by it being that way, it's good, but it's just insane, like how it all operates.
But I like the part like you said, like like watching that help you like kind of not swing one side to another.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's very like. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I don't know.
I'll move it a little bit closer.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we hear all of it.
Don't knock over your water.
Just don't knock over the water.
Yep. All right, go ahead, you got it. But yeah, no, dude, that South Park would still be good today. I mean, they're on their 26th season, 27th
At
season.
least. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, why not? I think one of the beautiful things that has happened recently, like post-pandemic, is like Dave Chappelle coming out and talking about like the trans community.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm a big fan of it is he's like, hey, you guys are dope. At the end of the day, I mean, who knows? I could have sex with a man. Like that's perfectly fine. But the way he placed it was, what I don't like is how you're here saying that you're suffering with these people, with black people, but yet you're using your whiteness to get you out of these situations. And I think it's beautiful. I think when it comes to, I think humor as a whole is supposed to be polarizing, because really humor is a sign of intelligence.
Yeah, you can point out this is a little fishy.
Yeah, you can point something out. You have to be able to realize what's being said. So you have to understand the content. You have to recognize the timing, whether you're giving or receiving a joke. It requires multiple levels of intelligence for you to just be able to perceive this as a joke. And so what's supposed to be a result of that is when you put this into real life, it's going to make people go either way. But I don't think something that is like South Park would stop, especially since when you look at the difference in South Park, like early seasons, very just random and chaotic.
Yeah.
As the show progressed, it's like, oh no. Now there's going to be a theme. There's actually going to be a plot throughout all this. And the wonderful thing about the plot is it does such an excellent job of just like the satire level. There is not another show, in my opinion, that does satire as well as South Park.
I mean, maybe Rick and Morty nowadays, but that's still relatively new.
Yeah.
I think
it's more nihilistic than anything.
I think it's more nihilistic. I think it's a really nice I think it's a nice like mirror for certain things. But when it comes to South Park, you're like, oh my gosh, like how are you going to show left, right, and center, but then show this through the medium of something else? Like I remember, I think it's season 19, it's my favorite season, when they're talking about, oh my gosh, ads. These ads just keep coming up and getting smarter.
It's like, does she know she's an ad?
And then, but they spin.
Yeah, you know which one we're talking about?
They spin the whole thing through the movie.
As
Ex Machina.
us. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. And you're just like, because I remember seeing that movie and I was like, dude, there's only 3 people in this movie. It's a dope movie. Oh my God. But to be able to spin that through that lens of this being the thing, this is how society is changing. I just think it's something that's so beautiful.
Dude, I mean that season 19, the whole thing, and then
that was like one of the last things I watched. That was wild.
Oh, dude,
this season's good.
The COVID one that they did exclusively,
I didn't watch it.
post COVID was hilarious.
What is it? The pandemic special.
Yeah, the pandemic
They
special.
start doing specials.
They roasted everybody.
Like you guys are bringing up a lot of like valid things, like in the sense where, this medium we're talking about specifically, like it doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
And that's the biggest thing. Like in today's like climate, like a lot of shows / like movies are very heavily influenced by like the director, whoever's funding it and stuff like that.
Yeah, the people funding it.
And so, but that's leading to a group of people who are like, say, like they're just interested in this fandom, right? But if this fandom only speak about one side of X, Y, and Z, you're only going to get X. And I think that's become such a problem in our culture. And like some use like dating, for example, right?
Okay.
Like today, like dating in like modern culture in the West has changed a lot,
For real.
especially in even the last 5 years. And like we are in a weird place right now, because like I don't really, the only social media I have is YouTube. So like I get like reels from like TikTok or whatever.
Yeah, TikTok's
Yeah.
TikTok is now the new Kleenex for a video
So,
under 2 minutes. or
One thing
whatever.
that's really like, so for me it's like what people like Kevin Samuel, Andrew Tate, like coming onto like the manosphere pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not gonna say red pill, blue pill, like that's
Yeah, people associate that with way different things.
yeah, but I'm talking about more in the sense of like like they are a counterculture to what's being pushed to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And and it's crazy. You seen the backlash that has like provided on them. Like they have been canceled. They have been like falsely alleged. And the thing is, like, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with these people. My biggest thing is like, we, especially on social media, a platform of freedom of speech, like, why are we trying to cancel people because of their opinions?
Yeah.
Just because we don't agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, to give like an example of that, I mean, kind of tying it back into South Park, how you were saying you could see this the left, the right, the center, the blue pill people, the left pill, and everything else. I mean, but what's so crazy is that it's just, I mean, when you step back, I mean, like the thing about me wearing an American flag shirt, I know people have, Jared's wearing an American flag shirt. He must be on one of them Republican kicks. I'm like, dude, I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Libertarian. I'm an American. And I have like, it's like,
Exactly.
like fuck the government. God bless America. It's the people of America is really what the beautiful thing is. You just get these, sicknesses that happen, laziness, gluttony, distractions, that people just seeking pleasure. And that's the thing about that with, like, you talk about Tate and a bunch of the other guys like that. All they're saying is be responsible. Like the best one I like is Jocko, like his like extreme accountability.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And like another thing I want to put on there is like, we like live like the society we in, like the minority is the loudest for some reason. And the crazy thing is like,
It's because it's polarizing.
Man, it can be polarizing, but it's like, there's a certain extent where it's just like you guys are doing a lot.
Yeah.
And you got like it's like you guys gotten away from like the point you even started.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But at what point in time does it come from making a point to making a dollar?
And exactly. And
said the quiet part out loud.
And that's true. And think like, and that's the crazy part, it's like what good messages become corrupted by human greed.
I mean, the Lockheed Martin for Pride.
Yep.
Like there was a meme of that.
Or the Bud Light too.
Oh yeah. The Bud Light's a whole other conundrum in itself. But I mean, I remember there was a meme of like a B-52 bomber, and it's it said Lockheed Martin, and it was dropping bombs, and then it said June, and then it was a pride sign that had Lockheed Martin written on it, and it was still dropping the same bombs. And then I saw a clip that Lockheed Martin actually participated in a pride parade, so the meme became real life.
That's cool.
And I mean, aside from pride, like I have no problem with what you want to do in your bedroom.
No, well.
It's between you, God, and what else you believe in. My big rule is consensual, minors, and non-animals.
Yeah.
Don't spread diseases.
And
I think
Don't ruin things.
like,
would you do an orange?
You haven't?
you haven't seen American Pie? What? You never had thoughts about American Pie?
Oh my God.
That pie's real
Hold
soft.
on, we got to dig into this.
Yeah.
In the fruit hierarchy, is there like a would you date a plantain?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there any fruits? Do you do vegetables? What's your taste?
You like grapefruit?
My
I feel like it's just an old woman.
my family isn't too fond of vegetables, but I've had a taste.
Oh, there's a little racism there, I see.
Yeah, and they're not racist, but yeah, sure. Golly, different species. What is it? Where'd you find this guy?
Speciesism, whatever you want to call it, whatever term we want to throw shit on.
This is
Exactly.
not an allusion to any race. Like the grapes or the oranges are not Jews. We're not making any references like that. We're just being strictly playful here, internet.
Yes, disclaimer.
Oh my God.
Please don't cancel us.
But man, I mean, God, that took a turn. I'm so sorry.
No, as it should. No.
I mean, but
The
I
world
mean,
needs to know.
But that's the humor like we're talking about right there, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like the people, like for people to understand why we're making a joke out of like species
oh
of
yeah,
racism.
yeah.
It's like, bro, we're not racist. None of us here are racist. I mean, like we were like, if we were, like we all be the same color and
That's
like
what it
say some
was.
crazy stuff, you know.
Kind of going like back on why the minority is the loudest.
Yeah.
Like you know, like I said, the majority of Americans, that's cool. You want to have sex with a man or a woman, or you want to believe that you're a man that's a woman, vice versa, whatever. You want to do those things. That's fine. Do them in your home. Do it in your privacy, like and those things. But it's like, don't cry. I always use don't put your stuff on my lawn.
Yes, and like that's where I was going. Actually, I have no issue with the LGBT community.
A lot of them are cool as
like,
fuck.
Yeah, they're like a lot of them are hilarious. Like hilarious people. Like one of my best friend in the Marine Corps, she's a Thai lesbian. You know, like she's one of the more badass Marines. Like I know, not even male or female.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, it's like we emphasize on this whole like orientation stuff so much, where it's like there's way more pressing matters we need to worry about, like the growing national deficit.
You tall or you short, bro?
Homeless
That's what really
people,
matters.
like
The
but
discrimination of people under 6 feet tall.
That's
yeah,
right.
I guess so.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, that's their fault.
Oh, that's interesting that you say that.
Shh. Tell people I'm 6 feet.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god! But I mean, dude, that's the funniest thing. But I mean, I also do believe like Banana Man made sure it's like where the dollar and the outrage kind of cross sections.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Let me ask you this:
yeah,
like if this for some reason got a lot of traction, but it was like
For some reason.
for some reason he says.
like, I mean, people.
Snowball in hell's chance, this becomes popular.
There's only one way. If it's people like you,
Come on.
There you
and
go.
that love people like him.
That's right.
Like, cause like people go viral for different reasons, but like
Yeah.
But I digress from that. It's like, for like whatever reason you go famous, right? Like, that reason became like a red pill thing. Would you monetize it? Like, I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, my goal is to make money. I want to make as much money to do as many helpful things to as many people as possible.
So would you preach something you do not personally agree, even though it's paying you a lot of money? Because I feel like that's what a lot of these people are influencers are doing. Like I feel like.
Well, I feel like it's the same reason I can't be honest. Like I would never step out and make a country album unless I said, hey guys, I'm just trying to make a country album. I'm not like, obviously right now I'm a nobody still in the music world. Like, I'm under all those like.
You gotta start somewhere, man.
I gotta start somewhere. But it's just like trying to get out there, put a lot more of myself out there through a podcast, through doing shows, social media, all those things. But also, if I can make money by finding people that enjoy the things that I enjoy, or like with this thing, it's supposed to be where I want to reach out to all my friends and people that they know. It's like, hey, like Ryan, is there any other like crazy veterans or other people from different backgrounds have a cool story that you can like maybe that hook me up with? Like, I just want to have people tell their stories and stuff like that on this, so it builds everything up. But to answer your question and not be so long-winded,
No worries.
I couldn't, like, if I was a country singer, people would be like, Jared, when was the last time you went hunting? I could get like found out very easy that I am not a country boy, like,
But still be successful.
but still be successful.
I mean, Keith Urban's Australian.
Well, dude, the Australians.
Oh, they're hard bodies. So yeah,
Oh, yeah,
but I'm just saying he's Australian.
But I'm just saying, like,
Yes.
people would be like able to, like, Narwhal, the guy that does the interviews.
Oh, dude.
Oh my god.
That dude's amazing.
Yo, okay, can I tell you my theory on him real quick?
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna use
would
the-
love
hey,
to.
I'm
That guy?
Yes.
He's the only person on earth right now that we can confirm has superpowers, and that is his power. Like, he just uses his power for journalism. He's like the opposite of Superman.
I mean, dude, when he comes up to people and he pulls out like the equivalent of my band from middle school.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, hey, do you remember it was Apollo 13?
I'll be right
Yeah.
back.
All right, you gotta take a whiz? All right, no worries. But yeah, I mean, dude, doing that kind of stuff, I mean, like, he just pulls up information from years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
And like, I'm so glad. I thought Ryan was about to eat it on a cord. I was like, we have so many cables
He's
and
gonna break
cords. I was
something
so
else.
scared.
He's gonna break something else. We knew it.
But I mean, he doesn't give up his method. Like he's like, I have my own ways of doing research, and he just gets everything. Like, people didn't even have to put stuff on a podcast back then.
Exactly.
He could literally, like, he would find your school newspapers.
It's a superpower.
Like, it's why? Because you're Banana Man.
Exactly. Exactly. That's his tag,
What's up?
dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. let me yank my own ears out. Yeah. I know Oz was funny in a. Here, I can't. I'm still attached. I'm attached with my ears. How's this fucking angle? How you like that?
I like when you stand up and you can't see the sleeves and you just become a where's
I'm
Waldo.
like, where's Waldo?
That's right.
Yeah, the stars could have been a little bit more accented on there.
They could have been.
But I mean, oh my god, dude. Yeah, I mean that guy is insane how he does that. And I mean I think his story was his parents wanted him to be a lawyer or something like that. Like they wanted him to start out as a lawyer, and then he said, "Screw that, I want to be a journalist." Like, nah.
And now he's doing it.
It's like I'm doing it, Mom. Did you have a nice whiz?
They need to get Nardwuar on Hot Ones. I would love that.
Oh,
Nardwuar Hot Ones crossover, and then have them like interview each other, but then still eat extremely hot wings. Love that.
Seabass has joined the chat.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. I was wondering if that microphone was close enough to your face when it was beside the computer, and I was like, I don't know. He's
Well, it's
professional.
after Oz left, we had an extra channel open.
Random question.
No way.
Okay.
How y'all feel about OnlyFans? I've asked. The reason I'm asking this is a polarizing thing.
I got you right now.
Oh,
I'll
this-
tell you what. With my company, I'm not gonna hire somebody that has an OnlyFans.
Okay.
Like if you're gonna be a face in my company or a representative, and the people that I'm doing business with look you up and see that you have an OnlyFans, whether you're successful or not, because I mean,
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
hey, yeah, no, I'm not gonna hire you for what I do, which is banana things.
All right, Jared.
I mean, in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, I know that there are people that do OnlyFans, and they don't do full on hardcore porn, and it is more of a form of modeling.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, it's like you are selling. Hey, Seabass, can you click your mic off? Has it got the switch? Yeah, just.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got an on and off switch on his.
Seabass, I want your opinion on this too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And AJ.
So yeah, but I mean, like, if it was my wife, no. Is it my daughter? No. Is it my,
Prospective wife.
yeah, prospective wife? No. I mean, that's a no for me. That's a no for me, dog. But it's like, I mean,
Is that like a religious reason, a personal reason? Because like the thing is like,
just,
I feel like, the reason I'm saying this, right? There's a lot of simps in the world,
oh,
and like they will die for some of those OnlyFans girls.
bro, there was a guy that killed for his OnlyFans
Yeah.
girl because his parents cut off the credit cards, kicked him out of his apartment, and like all of his money
Yep.
was just going to that.
And
Lost his job, killed his parents because they took his credit card.
that, I mean, that's like extreme. And
Oh, yeah, it's very
but-
extreme.
But it's like still like.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, I support your right to choose to do that.
Oh yeah, like you can do it.
You can do it, yeah.
None of
But if you're gonna, hey, I really like, if you're like 3 dates in, and she's like, hey, I really like you, and I'd like to continue dating you, but I need to tell you something, and that's the something. Yeah, no, sorry.
So, like one thing I've always thought interesting about OnlyFans is like, women, it's like, don't objectify me. And, and they go on OnlyFans and, I don't subscribe to it. I don't really know, but I feel like isn't that like, aren't you getting objectified by like all your subscribers?
there's a difference
There's
though.
a difference.
Okay, please explain. for
Money.
me.
That's it.
I mean, porn stars.
Yeah, money. That's
Yeah,
fine.
so-
yeah, exactly.
So like, this is more like Lorno.
Well, it's just like, it's one thing if you walk into a bar and you walk up to a girl and it's like you just are degrading to her. Like people know exactly, like if that guy.
Yeah, that's not appropriate behavior.
Yeah, but I mean, if you come up, sorry, I'm dying. But like I remember one instance, I was playing a gig at a bar, and I got the little notification that I had a $50 tip, which I was like, oh, that's very generous. Thank you for a $50 tip. And I saw that there was a link attached. A lot of times it's been, hey, here's my page, music person, somebody that wants to maybe, work together on something. So I'm like, all right, no harm, no foul. It's just a link. And then the next day I go back and I look at the link. And
OnlyFans.
it's her OnlyFans account. And to be fair, this woman was fine. Oh, like we walked in, we were playing at this bar and she walked in and legitimately every guy and every woman stopped and looked at her.
Neckbreaker.
Just oh, dude, she was wearing one of those little tiny like slut skirts that just.
Ooh,
So when
yummy,
she leaned
yummy.
over to like do the pool, like the pool table is right in front of me. I'm like,
So she knew she was. what
Oh, she was
doing.
working it.
She knew.
dude, her husband was really cool. He was there, but didn't know the situation. I was like, bro, good shit. That's a fucking 12 out of 10 right there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's their situation. That's their lifestyle. I don't think she does it anymore.
Mhm.
Like Ethan was telling the story, the drummer that was there for that gig. He's like, what was that girl's name? I was like,
You're hilarious.
we tried to find it again, and we couldn't find the account and stuff. But it was like, dang. But I don't know, dude. I think overall, it's destructive. Overall, just like pornographic stuff is, but so is alcohol. So is all these other things. It is how you take it in.
Would you start an OnlyFans page with your wife for extra income?
I'm not about that life, so no.
Well, it's like I think, well, maybe we could do that thing where we wear the masquerade mask. I'm like, nah. People are like, Jared, there's a guy that looks like your big hairy ass.
I have too many identifying tattoos.
Well, yeah, it's tattoos. That's true. I mean, dude, that's just the thing. It's just, you know, it's like it's the new face tattoo because everyone's kind of chilled off on face tattoos because it's like, oh, well, we don't want people to like customer facing people, and I feel like it's more for the women's safety if they do stop doing OnlyFans and they do get a like a creep, the simp that's really like, I love you, like,
dude.
God told me we're supposed to get married.
You know what's crazy? Like on that creep and simp thing, like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's just like like the people I've always been around my life. Like, I've never really actually took the time to be like, yo, there's a lot of weird ass dudes in the world.
Well, what do you think?
Really? Like,
Yeah.
The thing I think about it, like in high school, all my friends were football players. You know, and I was in the Marine Corps. I was in
There was creeps on the team.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they weren't my friends. Like,
That's because you were the creep.
Damn.
Exposed.
That's why I got no bitches. That's playing.
Dude, I saw a meme the other day. I don't know if you saw it, Banana Man, but it's like it's this girl that's been going around on TikTok. It's like, where are the guys with no hose at? And then it cuts to a guy watching One Piece.
Yeah,
We're over here doing this.
AJ, you got anything to say about that? Hey, look at AJ. He either like bless me.
Oh man.
So Seabass.
Yeah, Seabass. We got to get AJ.
We got to get you and see AJ in this conversation. So, how do you guys feel about OnlyFans?
In like a business, or you're gonna date them?
Anything.
If you,
anything.
well, let's do it this way. If you are let's say you're a streamer, entertainment production company, something like that, something in that kind of realm, zip code, if you will.
Then they're absolutely not allowed.
Okay. Now, if it's like you're a law firm, doctor's office, something more corporate.
Still not allowed.
Okay, so you're just a no across the board?
I mean, for the most part, no matter what they actually did on that platform does have a certain stigma to it, and they could have gone to other platforms and other media places if they wanted to still continue whatever they did.
So even
but
if
they
she
chose to go to one of the worst and possibly, I mean, just
so
one of the
other
cheapest
hypothetical, she just does yoga in a very tiny bikini. She never gets naked, but she's still on OnlyFans. And this is a very nitpicky like scenario, but you go and look at all of her OnlyFans, and she's always in a bikini. She's hot. She's in a bikini.
Is that all she can do?
Oh.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Are you hiring her to be your assistant or your?
I mean, I guess some of it would vary, obviously,
Yeah.
on specific situations, but in general, there would be no reason for me to be associated with it.
Yeah. So, but if she did just a regular modeling agency or something like that had a little bit more like cred, you might let it slide.
Well, I mean, that's what we're saying, is not everyone that's on that platform is doing the worst or nastiest thing possible, but that's the point, is that platform has that stigma with it. So
Yeah.
why are you being involved with it if that's not what you're doing anyway?
I got you.
So,
A no across the board. AJ, do you want to hop in on this?
yeah, AJ, next before I ask my second.
He's good. I'll
Okay.
politely.
So, I got a question. Like, it's already no for me, but would you guys subscribe to OnlyFans if she was hot enough?
I don't have that much money.
Yeah, it's like I ain't got that. I'm a musician, man.
I already don't go to strip clubs. I don't go to burlesque shows
I
because
mean-
it's a waste of money.
And
so.
honestly, living
I
in Panama
agree.
City, like the last couple years, like or the last year and a half or whatever it's been, like going down and doing gigs in Panama City during spring break or going around any beach town,
Oh, what? It's free.
it's free.
It's
Yeah.
free.
And it's healthy because you get to go for a walk in the sunshine and you get to see literally the worst part.
Everything.
The hardest part about it today, in today's nowadays age or whatever I'm trying to say, is you walk, like for instance, spring break in Florida. You know, March is around the college spring break.
Yep.
But then there's that little weird period of you
High
don't know if
school
these are
age.
high school kids, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because they're all wearing thong bikinis. The only weird part is you just see the look of disappointed dads that are just broken, and then the one.
That's awesome.
I mean, dude, it's just like, I mean, if you're 16, like the way I look at it is until you're 18, hopefully I'm able to give you enough, like, you know, virtues and values and like, you know, you don't need to be validated through other means like that. Like, hopefully I can do all those things for my daughters and
Yeah.
be that kind of guy to where they don't need to like do that. If they are beautiful and have those options, sure, they can do whatever they want at 18.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot tell you how many times I saw these girls walking down the beach, and I'm just like, I can't. It's not even worth taking the risk, because then worst case scenario, they are old enough and they just say no. Okay, well, sorry, that's not the worst case.
Yeah, I
scenario.
was like, wait.
Sorry, I got that backwards. Like, worst case
case.
scenario is you start talking game, and these girls are like in spring break with their like friends, family, or something like that, where their parents aren't around, so they feel like there's so many girls on Tinder and that are 16, 17. Like these, there's those red pill podcasts where they come on there, and I will say those guys, I would imagine cherry pick the guest on there, like Fresh and Fit and a couple of the other ones.
Oh yeah.
I think they do at the proof of point.
Yeah, I mean, they have tons of them. They are able to find lots of them, which makes it very hard to believe that's not the majority. But I still choose to believe that the most of the women out there don't act like that and would not get on a podcast and say those crazy, outlandish things. Disagree?
No, I'm with you. You might as well pick the polarizing ones, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to get the views and the clicks and stuff. But I mean,
Exactly.
I think you know, I think it's a great thing in a sense where it's like it's showing men who aren't very experienced like what's potentially out there.
yeah.
And like I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, well, it's like the men and experience and stuff like that. I mean, like you were saying, you went from football to the military, and then you were out on your own.
I was in college.
College, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. But I mean, like, you think about a lot of guys. I mean, a football team's what, 60 players? 60 players?
Depends on what high school you go to,
Yeah.
depending on what college you go to.
Let's say like dressing players that would dress out. I think it's around 60 something players.
yeah,
Yeah.
So you
probably
got
58.
58, yeah, something like that. So you got 58 guys that actually will see the field.
Yeah.
So if we're going off of this scenario, those are the guys most likely to actually get a girl that thinks, oh, he's playing on the football team. He's actually playing. You know, same thing in the military. Oh, he's out there in the military. There's those things that women find attractive, or people we like me and, you know, would assume, oh, I'm going to do this and this is going to make me attractive. And then there's guys out there that they don't have a thing. Maybe, and that's not a bad thing necessarily, but I mean, maybe their thing is just, you know, they have their craft that they do, like music, or they do, you know, they're literally a craftsman. They build stuff, but they don't have those social interactions. So by the time that you're 19, 22, you know, the amount of times, because I think you have to get that thick skin built up of, you got to get used to rejection as a man.
I think it's also like, I hate to say it, like a lot of men are invisible in this world.
Yeah.
And like, you know, because I think that's the downside of being in a society that's like built up to a level of extreme comfort.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, everybody thinks like, you know, every man's making six figures.
Oh, those
like,
are the worst.
5'10", you know, like again, like, you know, like 6 foot play, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the vast majority, like, that's not how it is, bro. Like, there's a lot of dudes who, you know, like are invisible, like making like 200,000, but they're too short, or they're working a non-glamorous job or whatever. And that's the thing, dude. It's like, like, you know, like the whole you know, the validation thing, right?
Yeah.
With like OnlyFans, like, you know, the thing, men don't need that. And the thing is, like, a lot of us don't care to even try to be validated by other men. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah,
And-
the validation we look for in other men is when we walk by and we get that head nod.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I
No,
respect.
I like it when the gym bros compliment me.
Well, yeah, that's,
Yeah,
But they only compliment me because I compliment them.
but like it
first.
still doesn't.
you break the ice.
It still
Yeah,
doesn't
dude.
change the fact that a lot of men are invisible in today's world.
Well, and like kind of going off of the gym bros thing, you know, my dad, he would tell this story about when he was working in Atlanta. He worked at Georgia Power, and there was a gym that was provided, the gym was a part of the parking complex that they gave him a pass to go
that's
to
cool.
and stuff. So he would go to there, and he'd work out all the time and stuff. And, you know, you get on that schedule with people at the gym. Oh, hey, man, I see you in here every Tuesday and Thursday. And, like, I see what's going on. And, you know, all those things like that. And, you know, one guy was like, hey, let's go on a ski trip. Let's go on a, you know, you want to come to my wedding? For guys, I feel like we can make friends with other guys like that. But nowadays, because of how we're separated and everything, it's not the same kind of way we connect. Like, men need to have a group of men around them to make them better, make them stronger, you know, criticize them, build them up, say, because I mean, I think we made that joke. It's like, bring back bullying.
I agree with you to a certain extent though.
Yeah.
I feel like as men we
Respectful bullying, I mean, in the sense of, hey, man, maybe you shouldn't wear that because you look ridiculous, and maybe no one's going to think you're cool as the guys I know that you can be. That kind of bullying.
Tough love.
I think
tough love.
I think a lot of men need to like be okay being by themselves first. You know, in the sense of like whether it's your friend, like somebody around you all the time or something. A lot of men like are not comfortable being by themselves, and that's always been weird to me in the sense where it's like that's one of the few times you really have peace, like when you're not like around people, and it's crazy because it's like, but what like let's ask the opposite. Like, what is so terrifying for a man to be by yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump in and say I think it's people as a whole should be more okay with being by themselves. I will say across the board, the majority of people are not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of those things is that a lot of people don't necessarily know themselves.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that they might not know themselves is because they don't care to look inside the things that are happening to them and why they are responding this way to the things that are happening to them.
I think I agree with you. I think that's a big thing. Like we don't take a step back and like look at what's going on in our life enough. Because we're so caught up in this flow of just everything, like whether you have like a significant other, children, like a career you're trying to climb, like there's always something that's happening.
Well, and I think and we can probably get it to where we get wrapping up on this. I know we're probably creeping towards 3. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, dude, I think one of the best quotes I ever heard, and this is only from a male's perspective. So, I mean, one of the beautiful things I see in being a man is that I get the chance every day to build my own character in the world around me. Like women, they have a lot of characteristics to make the world their own in their own way. But as a man, that's the beautiful thing is you need to have that group around you, those things that make you tough. You need to like, there's another saying is give a man a purpose and the ability to complete the task or complete that purpose.
He'll build you anything.
Yeah. He'll like a man will crawl across broken glass to like fulfill a purpose with a smile. Like, I mean, we're just built like we want purpose. We want purpose. And I feel like that's a big part about it, what my purpose is and,
going back to the whole niche thing, like, I feel like everybody has a niche. It's just like we don't put ourselves out there enough.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like being a musician is amazing. Not a lot of people are musicians, Like for me, it's like I try to always be beyond the Marine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like when especially as I get older, I want people to know me as like great entrepreneur, a great, minded person who like, like if I'm doing like I wanted to be I wanted to have a PhD in neuropsychology at one point.
Okay.
So I wanted to be like somebody, I might still pursue that one day, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's like,
well, I mean, you were talking about you might want to like this is your first podcast experience being on. Well, it's the first one I've ever tried to do as a series, and no,
this is dope. Like,
but you still thinking maybe that's one of the things you're going to try to do, put yourself out there on the podcast
definitely.
And stuff.
I feel like we need more like conversations like these where it's like we're all from different walks of life.
Yeah,
we're all still friends, and we all see things different. Where we can still have a clear communication without people getting upset or like going left field. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest. And
hold on, Seabass, I heard you want to cut in.
Seabass, come on,
come on, you're smiling.
That was just because I cut the mic on. You could clearly hear that.
Yeah, I was like,
Seabass.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But I agree with that, man. There's a lot of things about that you just like gotta try. People are like, it's like. There's some people who we won't name names, but like they don't want necessarily like their name to be associated with stuff because they're afraid of how it gets put out there and things like that. Because once you put it out there, it's out there.
I understand. I think this is why it's important because we need genuine people like to have these conversations and not like Banana Man was saying like that convolution of this is money dictating. Like how I feel about
money dictating your outrage.
And, the thing is that like one thing I find fascinating is like like Andrew Tate. Like particularly I don't really care for him. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. But the thing is that some of the stuff he said, I can see how he can inspire a lot of men who don't have a lot of self-confidence or or just less experience.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't want him to date my daughter, but I would want him to coach my son's football team.
Exactly. And because the thing about it is like. The reality of what he says, like it's true to a certain extent. Men have to be strong enough to protect and provide for their family. Like that's just a given.
Well, I think it's strong society where it's people that today are so used to saying whatever and not getting a reaction.
Yeah.
Like if someone comes up to me and says, "Man, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. You suck at music." And, I'm supposed to be the bigger person and say, "Hey, man, that's not very nice. Please go away." And which is a smart thing to do. But I mean, I feel like if there was a society where it was like, it's not the little guy trying to antagonize the big guy because he thinks, "Oh, he's so much bigger than me. He's not going to hit me." And like, yeah, no. But I wish I could.
You're better man than me. I've always thought talk shit get hit. So
Nah, I think that's the fun part about being, at least for the people in this room, I think it's a fun part about being able to know your body, know your strength, know that you have the ability for destruction, but to choose peace.
The control to keep
that
it all.
to me is one of my favorite things about being.
That Jordan Peterson quote, "Be a monster and then contain it."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's
Love that.
That's what it comes down to. Because I mean, like, come on.
Well, heck yeah, man. Well, I think that's a pretty positive note to wrap it up on. You think?
I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I like it.
Ryan, is there anything I want you look into that camera and tell the world what you want to do next, what's coming up, or any send-offs? No pressure.
Just be open-minded, better people. The reality is we never know what anything around us is really happening.
Yeah.
We perception is not reality. I hate that term. Like a lot of people like perception reality. That's not the truth. And if you don't think it's the truth, go find out.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on the next podcast.
There you
I think that's interesting. I think that's a good talking point.
Banana Man, is there any words of wisdoms or
Yeah.
what you got for us?
Oh yeah. Saw this on a video, but it's something that I have been living my whole life. It's don't ascribe to malice something that can be explained through ignorance. It's like we've all got busy lives. We're all doing things, and it's not that people out here are necessarily trying to be dicks. They're just so wrapped up in their own thing. Think about traffic and cutting people off. Is this person cutting you off to be a dick, or are they just so caught up in their own world they're not necessarily realizing or caring what's happening? So kind of keep that in mind, because at the end of the day, I mean, keep your peace.
I also want to say thank you, Jared, for inviting me on. I've had a lot of fun. Time
Yeah,
flew.
dude. I'm glad. I wanted you. I want the whole thing behind this podcast is to hopefully reconnect with some good people, some old friends that have an amazing point of view. I mean, Oz, Banana Man, I like I said, never been in the military, have some family and stuff in there, but be able to have friends that have gone through that, talk about it, your struggles with PTSD, all the other things. The fact that you're willing to come on here and say, your name is Ryan Shaw, I know Jared Monday, and we're going to put a bunch of words and stuff and opinions on the internet.
Fun fact, that if I would come back on, I was a drug addict at one point, and I'm not anymore, so.
Praise God.
We got to get
Praise God.
enough episodes to unlock AJ. We haven't
unlocked him, or we call him Fluke Holmes.
Oh, okay.
Remember to like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe, and tell your friends about us.
I got you.
Yeah,
also,
man.
sanitize your phones, please.
That's actually really good. But heck yeah, man. Well, thank you guys for another wonderful episode of the Strange Herd podcast. Hope to see you guys back again real soon. All right.
Always running out of